We've been saying this for over a year. Donald Trump is coming for your right to vote. And the Supreme Court, what more evidence do you need? Just cleared the way months before the election. California will sue. We're not going to let Trump disenfranchise Americans or rig the rules to his advantage. The Voting Rights Act is hanging now by a thread. This is how democracy gets dismantled. One right, one ruling, one election at a time. So the fight, it's here. It's now. The stakes are enormous. And it's time for all of us to recognize that we still have power. We need to show up, stand up, and vote this November.
Affect this election, and if it does, do you have any sense of how many Minnesotans might not get early ballots?
Well, what I would say is, over my dead body is that rule going to go into effect. We are going to fight this tooth and nail in the courts, and I've got the best Solicitor General in the country standing right there, who is going to make sure, along with the other attorneys general who are fighting this case. I think 25 states signed on to this lawsuit this morning.
Is there a court date set for that?
Well, not just yet. We have today. This morning we filed that new lawsuit. And I want to be clear, the Supreme Court did issue a ruling the other day that I think caused a lot of confusion, making people think that the United States Postal Service's rule, which essentially creates a list of who can vote, had gone into effect. It had not. It just simply said that we sued too early, so to speak. We've sued on time now. The final rule is in effect, and we are going to stop that rule. We filed that lawsuit this morning, and we will be filing a temporary restraining order to keep the United States Postal Service from being able to even start implementing that, and we're confident that we're going to prevail.
I think I would only add that currently there is an injunction in a related case that is also prohibits the federal government from proceeding at this time, notwithstanding what the Supreme Court decided earlier this week. And so as of right now, our elections are scheduled to operate the same way they always have, freely, safely, under the leadership of the Secretary of State and his team. And nothing has changed about that. This new lawsuit is a further effort to ensure that states can run their elections as they always have.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro is suing the Trump administration for what he's calling an unconstitutional attempt to change the rules and restrict mail-in voting. Today, Shapiro joined 23 state attorneys general in suing USPS, days after the Supreme Court ruled in favor of key parts of an executive order signed by Trump that were challenged. They require state and local officials to submit information on voters receiving mail-in ballots to a USPS portal. Election officials would have to adhere to USPS-approved ballot designs, which aim to accurately track the ballots. Shapiro claims President Trump is trying to inject chaos into his state's elections.
My question is, okay, you talked about the other injunction that's still in place, and then this is just them saying that the post office can submit, like, how they're going to make this distinction. We're still 2 months away from the election. Is that something that can happen in this timeline? Like, obviously, he's trying to do what he did with gerrymandering or redistricting,
Yes.
Which is mess with things in advanced election. Can he, timeline-wise?
Yes. And in fact, that's a lovely point, because this is something that Justice Jackson points out in her dissent. So remember I told you the holding is and what they decided was basically you brought the case too soon.
Yeah.
Well, there's another doctrine that the Supreme Court has, which is that you brought the case too late.
Sure.
Meaning it's too close to the election, and thus we can't really do anything now. The government, when it needs to, says, oh, don't worry, we're not doing any of this for the midterms. And then when it said, oh, we're being really harmed because we are not going to have enough time to do this for the midterms. And the Supreme Court did say in the decision last night, it said the harm to the government of this stay is it's preventing them from doing something before the midterms.
What Abraham Lincoln gave us, Donald Trump wants to take away. The first significant use of voting by mail occurred during the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln trusted the Postal Service to deliver that mail. He trusted those envelopes. Our postal system is older than the United States itself. The interstate mail system was established a year before the Declaration of Independence was written, with Benjamin Franklin serving as our first Postmaster General. In what would surely be a horror to Benjamin Franklin, we now have a Postmaster General who has put in writing his eagerness to violate the law for Donald Trump because Donald Trump told him to. From the start, the Postal Service has been operating under laws passed by Congress that require all mail with proper postage to be delivered. And now Donald Trump's favorite Postmaster General, David Steiner, has written a new rule for the post office, which Donald Trump ordered him to write in an executive order, in which David Steiner promises that the Postal Service will violate the law and not deliver mail if that mail contains election ballots sent to or from someone who the Postmaster General has decided should lose the right to vote in America.
What does this mean? It comes right after you and a group of attorneys general filed a new lawsuit to block the Postal Service rule from taking effect. It's not clear you'll get any relief until as early as next week. So what happens between now and then?
So I and my Democratic attorneys general will continue to challenge this rule because this rule will create nothing but chaos and confusion. In the state of North Carolina, in less than 11 days, they will mail out a ballot to individuals who are in armed forces as well as to citizens in these United States. And it's critically important that individuals understand that the only reason why this rule was created is because individuals, particularly those in the White House, believe that they cannot run on their record, and therefore they have to steal this election. This is nothing more than an attempt to suppress the right to vote, and I and my Democratic colleagues will fight this all the way to the United States Supreme Court. Let's be clear. The United States Postal Service and the President of these United States does not have jurisdiction over the elections. It's states, and it's in the Constitution, and that's why it's critically important that individuals understand that states have the power and the duty and the responsibility to administer elections, not the president, and definitely not the postal system.
Wow, there's a lot of whining going on in the Democrat Party today, all over the place. Now, I'm not going to celebrate yet. I'm not going to goad anybody because more than likely next week they will indeed find a judge to put a halt to everything. I have no confidence in the judicial system. In fact, they're probably going to go right back to the same Judge Talwani, who has been trying to stop it as much as she can. So they're probably going to go right back to her, and she's going to do it again. She's going to stop it. The end result is going to end up with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to rule on this. And the Democrats are putting themselves in quite the bind because we know Talwani can't, she's salivating right now. She wants desperately to stop this mail-in rule that's gone out. Now, all the mail-in rule has done is clarified the use of federal property. Everything you just heard in that little montage was a complete, utter lie. Because nobody is saying you can't vote. Nobody is saying that anybody can't vote. All it says is that you actually have to be a real person, and it's a one vote, one person type thing. And so anybody, anywhere in the military or otherwise can absolutely vote. You can tell their desperation because of what they're saying. If they were telling the truth, they wouldn't have to lie this way. Just saw, something posted on Forbes as well. And this article says, what did I just do there? Why did that not show up like it was supposed to? That's very interesting. That's my camera thing messed up again. It looks like it is. But anyway, it says the controversial new USPS mail-in ballot rules can take effect for now. The judge has ruled. Right now, as of right now, it is in 100% effect. There's nothing they can do about it other than go to a judge and have Talwani try to, turn it over, which I'm sure she would love to do. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. It is now, as we're playing this video, August 27th. The midterms are in November. All of this has to take place within the next couple weeks, not months. They're going to go in, as you heard the whiny guy from MSNBC, Weinstein, whatever his name is. We don't have enough time or it's too late. They're going to argue that the government filed it too late, and then they're going to turn around and say we don't have enough time to comply. But see, this is where it gets interesting. The states, all 23 of those that are complaining, have nothing to lift. There's nothing for them to do. So there's no reason for them to say it's too early or too late, because it's not like they have to change anything. The heavy lifting is being done by the Postal Service. The Postal Service will determine what needs to happen over the next couple of months. So I'm pretty sure when they have the trial or where they have the hearing, the Postal Service is going to say, we're fine. We've been working on it. We got it all set up, ready to go. So then what happens? Because the timing issue is gone. It becomes moot. I wish they had called this rule the can't cheat, can't win rule, because that's specifically what it is. You heard the Arizona Secretary of State, or whoever she was, over my dead body will anybody implement this rule. This is a hill they're willing to die on. That should tell you so much. You're telling me you have such a problem with this, such a huge problem, that you don't want anybody to have to show who they are to vote. You don't want even someone to have the ability to make sure that the person utilizing the mailbox is actually an American citizen. This should tell everybody what's going on. The problem is half of America doesn't care. There's nothing we're going to talk to people about. We are not going to convince them, because they don't care if you cheat. They don't care if you're a socialist. They don't care if you're a communist. We just have to beat Trump by any means necessary. So there's no negotiation. There's no conversation we can have at this point, because they don't care. If it means Trump is dead, that works for us too. If it means that people can't do certain things because their judge says it, that's fine. I think we're, irreparably broken. I've sat back, I was talking to Robin this morning, and I said, I don't see how we could ever come back together as a country. Only God's going to be able to do that, because there's no other way it's going to happen. We are irreparably split. And all we can hope for at this point is that there are more people on our side than their side. I posted about it this morning. Everything you see on X, Facebook, all of it. We call them panicans. We call them grifters and fraudster posters and Trump sucks and this and that and the other thing. But in closed doors, every single one of those people, I don't care what they profess on camera, every single one of those people are going to vote for the Trump administration. I challenge any of them, and here's why. They're making too much money. They're making so much money to spew whatever they spew all over X, and some of them are on YouTube and wherever. Full disclosure, yes, I make money from doing what I do. I try to be as honest as possible. They're just lying. I try to promote prosperity. They try to say nobody can buy a house. But they don't care, because they got their houses, they have their cars, they have their boats. It's easy to sit up and pontificate as if I'm for the little guy until it's time you have to vote your interest. Because I'm not going to name names, but when it comes time to pull the curtain and get in there and pull the lever, everybody is going to vote their own best interest. Nobody is going to say, wow, I'm doing really well. Let me go ahead and pull the lever for the people who want to destroy what I've been doing. I have a great life. I have great friends. We do great things. We have lots of fun. We do all this. And let me vote for the people who want to tear that apart. I challenge any of them to tell me that. I don't care how bad Trump is. I've seen so many people making videos, F Trump, F the establishment, F the... Come on. It's me you're talking to. I know you're making money. I know you're on X doing this stuff. I know you're on YouTube. There's only one reason any of you post. There's only one reason. Because you get paid. It's a job. And I don't besmirch you for that. I applaud you. You have found a way to make money, like many people have found a way to make money, because, hey, this is profitable. But at the same time, I'm trying to tell you who don't look at these other things to understand there's no way these people are going to pull the lever against themselves. Not going to happen. People ask me all the time, why are you so confident? Well, I'm really confident because I know the black people. And I know we only need a certain percentage. And I know the Hispanic market. And we know we need a certain percentage. And I keep seeing those percentages pretty much hold or get bigger. I can see that President Trump is going to get 12, 15, 17% of black vote. He may get 12, 15, 25% of Hispanic vote. They can't overcome that. And when you start taking things in little chunks and going, yeah, he's got a good hold on a certain percentage of the black vote. He's got a certain percentage of the Hispanic vote. Yeah, things look good. Oh, and there's a good amount of people who are no longer in this country. How are the Democrats supposed to make that up? Only by doing this kind of stuff with the ballots. Now they're at a point where they can't even manufacture enough votes with illegals, to the point now where they've got to go to their ghost population, the dead people, fake people. That's the only way they can win at this point. And so when you step back and analyze the lay of the land, you have to. The only thing these people are doing is stirring up crap against Trump so that they can get paid by the other illiterates who say, yeah, you're right, Trump sucks. And they go home and just crack up. They laugh. Why? I'm getting paid because these nuts follow me? Yeah, those nuts follow you specifically because of what you do. Now, for those of us who pay attention and have a scorecard, I want you to understand what's been happening. And it's been happening, and I'm not going to go into any ancient history. I'm just going to talk about this week. So let me do a little recap as to what has happened just this week. And then when I stop, I'll figure out what's wrong with my monitors. But Trump's taken the gloves off. I don't know if you saw what happened today. I've got it for you. We'll go through the entirety of it. It's amazing what happened, but the gloves are off. At this point, it's obvious to me Trump has not one F left to give. And it's weird because as you're clicking around and you're watching, no one is talking about what has happened. Never mind the last couple of months, what has happened just this week. Obviously, Monday, the Supreme Court cleared the way for the president's mail-in ballot order, executive order, to take effect. Yes, they will sue. They will do everything they can, but that means they are on the defense. President Trump is on offense. He's making them have to react. He's making them have to spend money. He's making them have to initiate effort to stop him. As of today, that order is in effect before the midterms. They're going to have to work and coordinate with some of their judges to make it stop, and then they're going to have to spend more money to make sure that the Supreme Court doesn't just tell her to go pound sand. As you know, the vote was 6-3. It's not going to change. The Democrats know that. You should know it. It was 6-3. When it gets back up there, it is likely to be 6-3 again. Now we're just looking at a matter of time. Next, Homeland Security has found out because of this executive order, they can now build a federal citizenship list. They have fought the census. They have fought everything. They didn't want people having any idea who walking around was a citizen. Now we can do that based on this executive order. And we can send it to the states, and we're going to say, these are the only people you can mail ballots out to. Oh, no, you can mail ballots out to these people. No, we're not going to let you do that either. We're going to make sure that every single person that utilizes the United States Postal Service has to be, from a ballot perspective, has to be an American. That's a heavy burden for people who don't want Americans to be exclusively voting. And that new executive order, it also presents yet another hurdle, because the prosecutions, the attorney generals, can actually prosecute people who give ballots to ineligible voters. Understand that. The same people you just saw in the opening clip, go ahead and send ballots to ineligible voters. I dare you. See, that's the other problem now. This is problem number 3. You are personally liable for sending these ballots out to ineligible voters. Probably won't hear that too much. That's one of the big things, because now if you're a Secretary of State or an elections official and you send out these ballots to dead people, illegals, you can be prosecuted. You personally. You're breaking the law as of today. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one. Oh, by the way, it's only Thursday. And let's see, what else happened? Let me check the list here. Oh, yeah. The State Department is revoking tourist and business visas for up to 200,000 people who came as visitors and then filed for asylum. That is the biggest, largest action ever of its kind in American history. In just 14 days this month, ICE arrested almost 1,500 people in Virginia and Maryland alone. Ooh, this is getting really juicy. Did I say it's only Thursday? That includes 400 people with convictions or pending charges for bad things to women. Charges for kidnapping, robbery, attempted unaliving, and baby removals. Well, not baby removals, bad things to women. You know what I'm saying. Rhymes with the word grape. Some were MS-13 members. Oh my God, we can't throw these people out. Yes, back the truck up, get them the hell out of here. It's one of the most successful operations ever. You're not hearing about it. Nobody's talking about it. You're not seeing that on X. Oh, my Epstein stuff. Yeah, go ahead with that. Oh, we're not done. And then ICE arrests surged by nearly 50,000 people in July. 50,000, the highest monthly total on record. Homeland Security also proposed a $100,000 fee to cap on H-1B visas. That's pretty big. Not a lot of people talking about that. Then comes the economic news. And this one is huge for many people, and a lot of the obtuse people aren't paying attention. The stock market continues to hit record after record after record. It hit another one today. The Philadelphia Fed has talked to President Trump, and they're trying to decide what they're going to do with interest rates, because now with a manufacturing survey that came out, they're showing that American factories are experiencing some of the strongest conditions in more than 5 years. And even more striking, the manufacturers' expectation for the future surged to the highest level since the start of the Reagan boom in 1983. Excuse me. The biggest 1 month jump ever recorded. In 1983, that would make it 43 years ago. 43 years ago since we've seen the kind of manufacturing numbers we're seeing right now. In other words, American manufacturing, it's not just getting better, it may be on the verge of a major boom. That means we're going to build things in America again. That means we keep seeing all kinds of different products jumping, companies coming to America. If my camera worked right, I could probably show you this. Let me try this one more time and see if this shows up. Nope, it ain't working. But I'll get that fixed while President Trump is talking. Anyway, it says, great news, Micron, one of the hottest companies in the world. And this was an hour ago, President Trump posted this. Not sure why it's not showing. They are keeping it. They announced a massive $10 billion investment in new research labs right here in America. They are keeping us at the absolute forefront of AI and advanced computing, combined with their previous $250 billion. You see this? You understand how it's really happening? But they don't want you to know that whatsoever. And then, just a few days ago, he helped drag, Darlene Graham over the finish line in South Carolina. People didn't think she had a chance. She performed horribly in the debate. But because he got behind her, because he personally went to Myrtle Beach, he dragged her over the finish line. And that brings us to today. He stomped all over the Democrats by getting the U.S. Postal Service ballot rule enacted immediately. And then to top all of that off, the big thing he did today, we're going to show you here in a video in a second. It's pretty amazing. He named Lake Ontario Lake America. Lake Ontario is now Lake America. A clear message to Mark Carney, not to the Canadian people. We don't want the Canadian people to be upset. We're letting them know your leadership sucks, and President Trump is giving the Canadian leadership a giant big middle finger. And did I say it is only Thursday? Right now, he's getting ready to head out down to Texas, and he's going to be trying to get Ken Paxton over the line. He has personally taken it upon himself, put these people on his shoulders and say, I will carry this burden. It is my cross to bear. I am personally going to help save America. And everything I just said, everything I just talked about in the last couple of minutes happened this week. So when they say nothing is happening, and I didn't even include the arrest from yesterday, there's a whole lot of stuff happening. There's a whole lot of good happening. There's a whole lot of stuff that good people are noticing. Good people who don't follow idiots on X, who don't see all the panicans, the grifters, and the fraudster pollsters. Good people who can just say, my life is going better. Things are happening. Don't fall for this crap. Not at all. Not at all. Let me show you some stuff today. I call it the can't win. I can't cheat, can't win.
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
A couple of states, both Arizona, in a case that's pending before the United States Supreme Court, and now Ohio, which tried to improve their own election integrity measures by requiring what we call in the election world DPOC, documented proof of citizenship, when you register to vote. Makes sense, right? Most Americans think that's required, but actually it isn't. You just check a box. And then that's how these thousands of people get on the voter rolls in different jurisdictions. We'd like to help states take them off, but guess what? 30 states, including some red states and mainly blue states, are blocking our efforts to do that. And so to what end? I mean, do people want non-citizens voting in our federal elections? That's the natural result of not allowing checks and balances here. So Ohio, in that case, the Civil Rights Division went in and did a statement of interest in that case. That federal judge rejected it. Now the Ohio Secretary of State is going to appeal that. And, we're going to take a look at supporting them on that, because the National Voter Registration Act isn't just a blank check for anybody to get registered to vote, whether they're here legally or illegally. And If we don't have safeguards on who's entitled to vote, we don't have a clean election that people can trust.
Your face suggests you'd like to jump in.
Well, what people?
Now, this piece here with Scott Jennings and the idiots on the panel at Abby Phillips' show that just exist to cause problems. When you hear the answers this woman gives to Scott Jennings, who might be the new press secretary, it's pretty interesting because it tells you they have nothing. They've got nothing they can respond with.
You said they don't want people to vote. What people?
Americans. They want to limit voting.
What evidence?
They want conservatives voting. You heard the President of the United States.
The President does better in higher turnout environments. You know that, right?
The President of the United States actually said that they weren't going to win the midterm elections, and therefore they need to do something about it. He has said that. This is exactly why he wants to pass the SAVE Act. I mean,
you're laughing because you don't make any damn sense. That is not true whatsoever. What he said was, we can't win the midterms with you people cheating. And we know, if you saw my video earlier today, you're cheating. You're putting dead people on the rolls all over the country.
We all know that whether it is voter ID laws, whether it is limiting vote by mail, whether it is redistricting, every tactic that they have used has been to limit voting so that they can ultimately win in the midterm elections.
All right, so once again, let's just hammer it home. Nobody is being restricted from voting. This is the term that they're using, trying to pound it into people's heads. People are going to be restricted from voting. Nobody is going to be restricted. I am so over the fact of, or the statement when they say people don't have IDs or people can't even get an ID. Just save that. That is so played. It's 2026. Anybody who wants an ID, by now, your ass should have been to the DMV or wherever you got to go to get yourself an ID. You've had years. That argument means nothing anymore.
A, Trump and his coalition do better in higher turnout environments.
Not this election. There are people crossing over, and independents
not when he's on
that are going.
Ballot. There's no proof of that when he's not on the ballot.
And independents are.
You're proving my point. The point is, if turnout were higher, his party would do better. She's arguing erroneously, without any evidence, in a reckless fashion on this network, that somehow the President of the United States is trying to stop people from voting. There is no
He's trying to limit voting. He's
whatsoever.
absolutely trying to limit voting.
That's why I can't watch this show. I watch it sometimes because of Scott Jennings being on, but for the most part, you can't watch it because they're not serious people. They are the in-person persona of some of the people on X. All they can do is just spout crap. Oh, yeah, he is. He really doesn't want people to vote. He said it himself. He's going to try and restrict voting. You can't have a conversation with people like that. They're speaking from emotion and propaganda. Hey, can you show me where that's happening? Can you show me anywhere where he's saying that people shouldn't be able to vote? No. Because their side is all driven by emotion. They have nothing that they can do to talk actual fact. I can't say it any more than I've said it. These people can't win. They know they can't win, which is why they never talk fact. That's why they never answer a question when it's asked of them. Because, hey, what's fair share? I don't know. It depends on how much we need. Oh, really? That's not what fair share means. How much do you want to tax me? You've heard that on television. If you make $100,000 a year, how much you expect me to take home? They can't answer anything. And then we get this whole woman who killed her kids and people are running around. Hey, have you thought to yourself this about the woman who's taken all the drugs and there are some women who are relying on that and saying she should get off because she couldn't help herself. Are we not doing the same thing with kids? Did a study not just come out and say, if you're pumping all this stuff into kids so they can have a lop of dick off of me surgery, and now we find out that the study has confirmed that what they're doing is causing them to be violent. Anybody want to draw a parallel and say, maybe we got a big mental health problem in this country? Everybody knows it, but nobody's doing anything about it because they don't want to put these people, where they should be. So they're wandering the street amongst us. Many of them, if not most of them, are Democrats.
Have you asked the president this directly? Because he is trying to limit voting.
The only people they care about are people who shouldn't be on the voter rolls, like illegal aliens or people who aren't eligible to vote. And the problem with the mail-in ballots, which are inherently less secure than voting in person, is that in a lot of states, they don't clean up their voting rolls and they send out millions of mail-in ballots to people whether they ask for them or not.
All right. Here's a man speaking fact. You would think if somebody's sitting in front of you and said, here's the problem. You won't clean up your rolls. You're sending these ballots out to millions of people. You don't know if they live there. You don't know if they moved. You don't know if they're dead. I'm speaking fact. And all we want to do is clean it up. Not saying, people who shouldn't be able to vote can't vote. How about we just verify that the people actually live there, that you're sending all these mail ballots out to? Those are facts that we can discuss. No, you're not allowed to discuss that.
Many addresses get multiple ballots, and there's a lot of live ballots out on the street. These states refuse to clean up their voter rolls. That's absolutely true. And you have to ask yourself, why would you want fraudulent registrations on your voter rolls?
No one wants fraudulent. No one wants that. Hold on, Scott. The reality is that you have a president of the United States who continues to go back to the 2020 election and say.
Yeah, let me take the conversation this way because I can't address anything you just said. Let's stay here with the conversation, honey. I don't mean to patronize you, but you sound like you need some patronization. Can we talk just about this, what he just said? Nope, can't do it. Can we just talk about the security, making sure that the mail-in ballots go to people who actually are supposed to get them? Nope, she pivoted very quickly, very deflect. Don't even want to talk about it. So you tell me how we're supposed to come back together as a country when people don't even at this point want to discuss fact. There's no debate in this. We've been finding dead people, hundreds of thousands of dead people on rolls. Is that not true? Can you answer that? Should we not clean that up? Well, in 2020, that's not what he said.
The 2020 election was stolen, and so now we're all of a sudden here to believe that what Donald Trump wants is a secure election so that so many people can vote when he won't even take the results of the 2020 election, Scott.
This is like watching, what's that chick that hangs out with the little kids? The one who did the video with Mondami. They're talking to children. It's performative. It's not real life. And I think more and more people are realizing now, like, this is bullcrap. That's just an actor. She's not talking. She's trying to talk to the lowbrow, low intelligent people out there. Yeah, that's all they want to do is talk about 2020. They're not talking about the Epstein files. Oh my gosh.
The President of the United States does not want people voting.
He wants people who are legal, eligible American citizens to vote and not have their votes diluted by people who are ineligible or illegal.
Wow. That's where we are as a country. I don't see it getting any better. I don't know if you guys see it getting any better wherever you are and being able to discuss things. And it's almost like, can we have a discussion? We're going to put the rules up right here, okay? We're going to discuss this, this, and this. Nothing else. I want to put you in a box. If I went to a dinner party or something, I walk up to somebody and I'm like, hey, we're going to talk about whether the Dolphins can win this week. I'm not talking about the Steelers. I'm not talking about the Seahawks. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Okay, look, we can talk. We're going to talk about mail-in ballots being cleaned up off the voter rolls. Can we just stay here? Nope, they don't want to do that.
John Frederick's here live in Washington, D.C., reporting in for Fanfare. Hey, did I tell you I love Fanfare? I love being here. Now, President Trump just dropped a political payload cluster bomb on mail-in voting. The Democrats are going berserk here. They're going absolutely crazy because If this goes through, well, they can't cheat, which means they can't win. Here's the new deal. If a state wants the United States Postal Service, a federal agency, to mail ballots to voters, it has to comply with the new federal election integrity requirements. Very simple, right? You provide a voter list. Well, that makes sense. You verify eligibility. You use trackable ballots. You be sure the voter is a U.S. citizen. Or the USPS can simply refuse to mail non-compliant ballots. Boom! What a concept. Before the federal government delivers an election ballot, well, they want to make sure it's going to an eligible voter, a U.S. citizen. Here's the revolutionary concept. It's mind-boggling. One voter, one legitimate ballot, one secure election. Of course, naturally, blue state liberal Democrats, the libtards, are suing and going nuts. They'll find judges to block it. They'll fight it all the way up the judicial food chain. They'll say it's an encroachment. They'll say it's voter suppression. They can't prove that people that are getting ballots are U.S. citizens, though. SCOTUS has not yet ruled that Trump's entire policy is constitutional. Now, that fight is still to come. But here's the question. Ask yourself this. Why are Democrats so terrified of voter list verification? Why are Democrats scared to death that you have to be proved that you're a U.S. citizen to vote? Why do they oppose eligibility before mailing out the ballots? Republicans should fight like hell for this. They should fight for clean voter rolls, verified eligibility, U.S. voters only, trackable ballots, secure elections, make every legal vote count, and make sure every ballot is legit. That's not voter suppression. That's election integrity. That's election integrity. That's common sense. John Fredericks, you're Godzilla of the truth. Don't forget, you can follow me on social media at JF Radio Show. At JF Radio Show, and I'm live Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Hey, download my free TV app. We're TV. We got a TV channel, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. Apple Store or Google Play, jfmn.tv. Don't miss it.
I love having John on board, giving those reports right from Washington, D.C. So he's absolutely right. It's one question that just doesn't get answered ever. What are you afraid of? And I don't, you know what? I wouldn't even pose it that way to somebody. I don't want to trigger somebody by saying, what are you afraid of? I would rather say to somebody, what is the harm in making sure that people who get mail-in ballots are actually supposed to get mail-in ballots? What is the harm in cleaning this up? Why would you want to keep sending Christmas cards to people who are dead? Why do you want to send Christmas cards to addresses where people don't live there anymore? It's a very, very simple question. Why do you not want it cleaned up? And if you ask your friends, family members, coworkers that very simple question, and you watch them perform all kinds of mental gymnastics because they can't seem to understand what the hell they're even talking about. They're going to have to move the arrow. They're going to have to figure out a way to answer you in some way, shape, or fashion without admitting the truth. And that truth is, you can't cheat, means you can't win. That's it. All right, so let me, SV, I see he just got here, but I got to jump, and I'm going to go to a commercial, SV, and then I've got to also reconfigure the camera thing so I can bring it up your tweets, because for some reason it's been acting kind of crazy. I don't know why. I'll fix it up before SV comes on next time. It's not on your end, it's on my end, SV. All right, so let me tell you about Lear Capital. I wanted to talk about, do I have the other thing? Yeah, it's this one. All right, here we go. Have you ever looked at one of today's biggest investment stories and thought, I wish I'd gotten in on that sooner? Maybe it was AI, maybe it was SpaceX. It seems like by the time the rest of us hear about an opportunity, the biggest gains have already happened. But what if the next opportunity isn't the headline? It's what's making the headline possible. And I'm talking obviously about silver. Silver is a critical material behind the AI revolution. It's used in the technology that powers, a little scary word, data centers, advanced electronics, robotics, and the infrastructure AI depends on. But here's the thing, you don't want to be learning about all of this after everyone else catches on. Remember, silver's price prediction is still for $150 an ounce, and silver has been stuck around $60 an ounce or so for about a month or 2 months. That's why I want you to get a copy of Lear Capital's free report, The AI Revolution. It explains why so many investors are buying silver at today's low price. Buy low, sell high. If AI keeps growing the way many experts expect, the demand for silver could grow right along with it in the years to come. And all you got to do is text the word Barry to 43343 to get your free copy. It's quick and easy. Text the word Barry to 43343. And remember, you could also qualify for up to $20,000 in bonus silver. So don't wait until this story is everywhere. I bought silver years ago and I continue to buy it today. Text the word Barry to 43343. Again, text the word Barry to 43343 and make sure you're getting real silver, not some certificate somewhere. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to do some configuring. And then President Trump had a very, I would say short, for him, a very short speech interlude in the Oval Office. Normally he speaks for 45 or an hour. This one was about 15 minutes. So right after the break, we're going to jump right into it.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
Thank you very much. I just want to announce the stock market just hit another all-time high. That's the 81st time during a brief 1.5 years. And 401ks, likewise, they're at an all-time high. So millions and millions of people are benefiting from this incredible economy that we're creating. We're building right now a record number of plants, factories. Car companies are moving back, as you know. Honda announced and Toyota announced they're moving in from Mexico. They're coming here. And numerous plants are coming in from Canada. They'll be announced shortly, but numerous plants are coming in to the United States from Canada. Also Japan, South Korea, and Germany. So we're doing things that nobody's ever done before, but the stock market just hit 81 times in a short 1.5 period. It's just hit its all-time high again. I want to congratulate Darlene Graham on her tremendous victory on Tuesday night, and she's sailing now. She's really doing great. She's still got to run against a radical left lunatic, and the South Carolina people are not going to stand for that. I know South Carolina very well. I won it every time by record numbers, have the all-time record by millions of votes. But I just want to congratulate Darlene for having run really a great race, and she's going to be a great senator, and the people love her. There's something about her that's very special. She's got a little Lindsay in there somewhere, got good genetics. So Lindsay's looking down very, very happy and very proud of her sister. So congratulations, Darlene. And finally, I guess the purpose of this more than anything else is we're going to be changing the name of Lake Ontario, effective immediately, to Lake America. That's going to take place right now as I sign the order. Do you have anything to say about it, Ben?
Yes, sir. So this is a straightforward but important executive order. It directs Secretary Burgum and the Department of the Interior to update the Geographic Names Information Service to reflect that the lake once known as Lake Ontario will, from this day forward, be known as Lake America. This is a lake that has most of its volume in the United States. The deepest parts of the lake sit in United States territory, so this will reflect that this is an American lake.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. And we filed all the necessary papers, documents, everything else. We notified all of the various people that we have to notify. So we've done everything that you have to do. And this is official, effective immediately. Do you have any questions, anybody?
Mr. President.
Yes.
That video you put up yesterday, crossing out Lake Ontario and writing Lake America, it's been seen by about 30 million people, maybe more, across all the social media platforms. What message are you sending to Canada with this move today, and why was this such an important thing for you to do?
It's an interesting question. No message. As you know, Canada's been ripping us off for a long time on trade, very sadly. Even the military, you know, we defend Canada for nothing. We don't get anything. They don't pay us to defend Canada, but we defend Canada. And they understand that. As an example, we bought icebreakers. They'd like to use them. We have 11 brand new icebreakers coming in. They'd like to use the icebreakers. They don't pay for anything. And they want to be treated like a state, but they're not a state. But they want to be treated like they're a state. And so we just can't do that anymore. We lose on average over the last 15 years $60 billion a year carrying Canada. So we just can't do it anymore. We love the people of Canada. I don't think their representatives do an appropriate job. Maybe they'll change. I really don't know. I mean, it doesn't make much difference. But we can't let the whole Canadian thing that's been going on for decades, and it has to come to a stop. So we're going to be doing tariffs on their cars that are coming in at a substantial level, because we want to make the cars here. We don't want, if they can make their own cars if they want, and they can continue to make their cars for Canada, but we don't want them to make cars for the United States of America. It's very simple. Likewise, many other products. So the lake change, Lake of America, was something I've been thinking about for a long time, actually. As you know, we took something called the Gulf of Mexico, we changed it, and now it's very routinely the Gulf of America. So if you think about it, we have a Gulf and we have a lake. Now all we need is an ocean. So maybe we'll have to change the name of the Atlantic and or the Pacific. Maybe we'll change them both.
Why are you so focused on doing things like this towards America's allies instead of doing things that target adversaries?
Well. The Canadian officials have treated us very badly. They're nasty people. They charge our farmers 400% tariffs. They've been doing it for a long time. And I had them figured out in my first term, and I did some pretty strong things and had it getting pretty good. And then the election was rigged, and now I'm coming back and doing it the way and finishing the job. But they treat us very badly. Canada treats us very badly. I would say that of all countries, as you know, we have President Xi coming in a couple of weeks. We deal with a lot of people. People oftentimes, they'll ask me, who's the worst to deal with on trade? And I said, that's easy, Canada. They are the worst to trade. And they feel entitled, and just we can't have that.
Mr. President, Ted Cruz keeps teasing a 2028 presidential run. You run against him for president. Do you think he could be president? What's your reaction to that?
You say he's going to run? Or?
He's teasing he's talking about it.
You don't mean 2020, but you mean
2028.
Yeah. I would say that he's very talented. He's a very good friend of mine. I think he might do that, yeah.
Mr. President,
He's a talented guy.
Mr. President, what's your reaction?
What would you say to those who are concerned a trade dispute with Canada could affect American affordability ahead of midterms?
Well, ultimately, it's going to be very good for us because we're losing, when you talk about affordability, we're losing $62 billion a year on average with Canada. And if you really look at it, we're losing more than that. It's too much. It's too much. We can't lose that. We don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose it anymore.
Mr. President, has Vladimir Putin agreed or committed to not attacking a NATO territory?
I've had good talks with him. He's not going to be attacking a NATO territory.
Mr. President, what's your reaction to the latest
The
on
Supreme
the...
Court earlier this week ruled on mail-in ballots, and there are states like North Carolina that have ballots that go out next week. How are states supposed to implement this?
Well, they're able to. North Carolina is great. It's a great place. I want to go 3 times. They do some mail-in ballots, but basically they ruled on the legitimacy and the way we want to make them legitimate. And it was a great ruling for the Republican.
Why do you keep voting by mail, sir? You say it's a concern.
Deliver a warning to Russia not to attack NATO territory during his...
Well, I don't want to comment on that, but they're not going to attack.
Mr. President, what's your reaction to the Americans missing in Nepal?
Oh, it's terrible. No, and we've called Nepal and we've offered any help that they need. We have a very good relationship with Nepal, and that was that was mud and water as a mixture. Nobody's ever seen anything quite like that. We're very powerful, strong, well-built buildings were wiped out like they were toothpicks. That's a terrible thing. No, we are sending aid, and we've spoken to the leadership, and we let them know anything they want we'll have. And there were 50, maybe 60 Americans over there. We haven't gotten the full list yet, but hopefully they're okay. But that looks like something that people will not be. Somebody will be lost, unfortunately.
There is reports that Vladimir Putin is meeting with the president of Iran to talk about a nuclear agreement next week. Is there concern in the administration, in the White House, that these countries aren't taking economic D-Day seriously, that they're going to continue doing business with Iran despite the warnings?
Iran is right now, they're not paying their troops. They're in deep trouble. They have very little capacity. Last night we took 24 boats through the strait. We're taking them through all the time. I say it very openly. It doesn't mean we're finished with the military, but the strait is open, as you know. The Strait of Hormuz is open. We have control, and we have the blockade. Iran's not getting anything. Nothing is going through. Not one ship has gotten through.
Will you punish Putin or Russia if they continue to do business?
It depends. So far, I think Russia's behaved quite well, having to do with the Strait of Hormuz. And you have to understand, for everything they do, we do also. Somebody was saying about China, what about China? We hear they're spying. We spy on them too. That's the way it goes.
Why not sanction Chinese banks, though, who are doing business
Well, who said I'm not? You said, why not? I mean, who said I'm not? You don't know if I'm doing it. Well, I don't have to announce everything, do I?
Are you speaking to, sir, about what other leaders have you spoken to about this pressure campaign to get them to cut off ties with Iran?
About Iran? There's not a lot to speak to. We don't want to speak to them. We're not looking to meet or anything. The strait is open. We're taking a lot of boats. Millions and millions of barrels of oil are coming out of the strait every day. Other countries recognize that. Every once in a while they shoot some, they put some shots at. We totally cleared the strait we have the best minesweepers in the world, the underwater minesweepers. And we've totally cleared the strait of mines. And we're watching very closely through Space Force, which is one of my things, one of my many things. But we're watching, we see every inch of the strait. And any boat goes in with a mine, we see it. And we take it out. We've taken out 2 of them.
Mr. President.
Thank you. So I'll be going to Texas, and we're working very hard. We want to win that race. He's running against a man who should never be. We have a very good candidate, Ken Paxton, and he's running against Telefrico, they call him, because he is a little freaky, and that's not a man that represents the value of Texas. So I'm going to help Ken Paxton. And I'm going to spend a lot of time in Texas. I have the all-time highest vote in the history of Texas also. And I'm going to spend some time there. We'll be going tonight. Some of you are going with me. Thank you very much, everyone.
I told you that was one of the shortest events he's had in his entire, I think maybe both presidencies. He was short to the point. And unfortunately, SV, I couldn't get the slap ready because I was trying to get all the windows working so I could continue with the stories. But yeah, she definitely deserved the slap. What do you think? You're asking the president, why are you doing something without having any idea whether he's doing it or not? It's amazing. I did want to show you this. Hopefully it works this time. Yep, it does work. All right. So if like I told you, go to whitehouse.gov. You can find all the presidential exclamations are there. This was a presidential action honoring the American history of the Great Lakes and renaming Lake Ontario as Lake America. It's an executive order, obviously, and you can read the entire thing here, but it's official. It is 100% official. Lake Ontario is now Lake America. Take that, Canada. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Oh, that's going to freak a lot of people out, but that's okay. It's only an executive order. The next president could rescind it and put it back to Lake Ontario. You know, if a Democrat wins, they will do that immediately, day one. But anyway, all right, so I missed you. Yeah, that worked. Okay.
Hey, man.
What's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Man, I'm thinking of taking a trip. I'm thinking of taking a trip really soon to the East American Ocean.
The East American Ocean. What are you talking about? Pacific?
No, that's Atlantic. That would be the West. That would be the West American Ocean.
West American Ocean.
Hey, I'm ahead of it. I'm ahead of it. I'm trying to get ahead of it.
I jumped ahead and got some of your things ready here. Hopefully this button works. Hold on. Let's see if it works. And it works. All right. So what do we got here?
All right. So clandestine, he had actually two posts, but I thought this was a little bit more important. He says the State Department revealed that Antifa is part of a global terrorism network also connected to Hamas and the IRGC. This should be the biggest story on earth right now, but you won't hear a peep from the left-winged MSM because they were all on the same team, as we know. It's happening. We were told this would happen. We were prepared for this exact moment in history. Alarm bells should be going off in every Anon's head. Really?
And there's a story right there. Exclusive State Department reveals Portland Antifa connection to Hamas, Iran's IRGC, and sweeping terror action. Most of us probably assumed that was the case, but they've been covering for them. I mean, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely crazy that they have a terror cell. By the way, I don't know if you guys heard that Mark Carney, as one of his retaliations, he's told the media up in Canada that they can't refer to 9/11 as a terror attack.
Oh gosh. he's such a soy boy.
Oh gosh. I see you got another one here. This is a longer one, so you're gonna have to explain.
Is that Cash?
That's Cash Patel. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to. I mean, okay. So yeah, for all the people that say Cash still isn't doing anything, this is another major win for the FBI, our Homeland Security Task Force, and our law enforcement partners in Puerto Rico. More than 80 subjects have been indicted in the takedown of a Mayagüez-based transnational criminal organization responsible for large-scale narcotics trafficking across Puerto Rico and into the continental United States, including using, here we go, the United Postal Service to move controlled substances and generating millions of dollars in illicit proceeds every year. This was a massive operation. 13 SWAT teams, CIRG aviation assets, FBI San Juan personnel, the Homeland Security's Task Force, DOJ, and our state and local law enforcement partners came together to dismantle the organization's leadership, disrupt its distribution network, and shut down another major drug pipeline poisoning American communities.
Wow.
These transnational criminal organizations should understand the message. This FBI and our partners are bringing every available resource to the fight. That's huge. That's huge news. And it wasn't covered on any CNN. Nope. No one covered it.
Nope.
Not one of the left media.
Here, let me go back to this. I want to show you. He also, the Department of Justice, put this out. and it's actually got a wanted list with the names stricken of the people. It says 81 members have been charged with drug trafficking, firearms violations, and part of the task force initiative. These 81 defendants are alleged traffickers of Los Bajo de Po, whatever, also known as LBD, who maintain a steady supply of highly addictive stuff. You know, it's weird. Again, nothing's happening.
No,
Nothing. You can listen to the hackers over there, over the pollsters and fraudsters. Nothing's happening. And I don't know how you look away from this stuff when there's so much. And then we've got
that
this
list
one.
that you that list that you showed, by the way, that list that you showed. I mean, I'm looking at the pictures. They really look like some really upstanding citizens. Good grief.
All right, so what do you got here?
All right. So here's some really more big news, which is not being covered on any of the leftist media. Trump team is closing in on a Venezuela oil deal that, get this, would more than double the U.S. reserves. Not a press conference, not a speech, an ownership stake in fields holding 90 billion barrels. These fields used to sit under China and the old Caracas insiders. See, not no more. That's part of the Monroe Doctrine. Rubio and Miller are taking them off the board. American companies develop it. America gets the reserves. Venezuela gets the revenue instead of Beijing. This is the Monroe Doctrine with the drill bit.
I mean, you're right. We're not seeing anybody talk about this stuff. I mean, people come here and they're like, I don't see this news anywhere else. You have to wonder why, because we're watching Lindsay Clancy 24/7 at this point. Everything about this woman's trial. Somebody approached me on X today, and I'm like, I don't care. That has no This has bearing on my life. This has bearing on your life. And you've got people who are watching it every minute of the trial and they can't turn away. And I'm like, what the hell has that got to do with me? I want to make sure we are safe and prosperous. That's all I care about. Literally.
I believe that there are tens of millions of people who watch the Schultzsters and the pollsters and you know who else. They suck up salacious details. That's all they want to read. It's like, these are the people that bought the National Enquirer. So my point.
And read it from page from front to back. It's absolutely insane. All right, so we do have a little bit of bad news coming up. So it's not like really bad, but kind of bad. I'll get to that, SB, right after this spot for Rumble. Oh, some people are going to say this. Oh, it's just so bad. Maybe you know what's coming. Not really bad for a lot of people, but it's bad. All right, so let me do this first. This is a paid advertisement for Rumble Wallet. What did Rush Limbaugh used to call it? The obscene profit break. Oh, this was not that obscene. But anyway, they're sponsoring a portion of this show. We've raised so far, not a whole lot, but we've raised over $200 for Tunnel to Towers, which we are matching, which would make it a $400 donation to Tunnel for Towers in honor of the 25th anniversary of 9/11. And here's how it works. Every rant sent through Rumble, that's how they call their chats, if you send it through Rumble Wallet, will be donated to Tunnel to Towers. And then I am matching whatever comes in to double the donation. So for a limited time, you can start your Rumble Wallet with $10 in U.S. stablecoin that they're going to give you for free for tipping Rumble creators like me, and by entering the exclusive promo code BARRY10 when you sign up. You want to help me raise money for Tunnel to Towers? Don't bury it in a chat. Put it in a rant, because let's be honest, regular chat flies by really fast sometimes, but when you use Rumble Wallet, it cuts through everything. So here's the move. Scan the QR code on your screen or use the link in the description below. Download Rumble Wallet and try it yourself. And don't forget to use the code BARRY10 and claim $10 for free U.S. stablecoin. Setting a tip is easy. Open the chat like you're sending a Rumble rant and hit pay with Rumble Wallet. That's it. This is basically the VIP lane. You want to help and honor 9/11 families? That's very simple. Use Rumble Wallet and claim $10 in US stablecoin with my code Barry10. Then send a rant. I'm watching for them, SV's watching for them, and we're doubling. Actually, well, we're matching, which would make it a double-sized donation. Restrictions apply. There are a limited number of entries available. Terms and conditions also apply. See the description below in the video or visit rumble.com, promo official rules for details. Be back in 90 seconds.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Very bittersweet. I'll miss you guys. I know that's probably not something anyone would expect me to say, but obviously it's been great working with all of you. And I think people don't realize about this job, the briefings and what I just did on TV is 10%. 90% of it is taking all of your calls at 5 in the morning and 11 p.m. at night, and I won't really miss that, but I will miss working with you guys every day. So thanks for being colleagues, and I know the president will continue to take your calls and provide you with statements every day until he assumes a replacement for the role. So just thanks for being partners here at the White House, and good luck.
Caroline, do you have any advice for the next White House press secretary?
I will give my advice to whomever assumes the job. You know, I think it's most important in this job to understand that President Trump is his own best spokesperson, and we joke, Stephen Chung and me, that he is the true communications director and press secretary here at the White House. And just understanding that, knowing that, and believing in the mission. I mean, I think you guys can all see I believe so much in my heart about what this president is doing every day, the policies he's enacting. It's been an honor to speak on behalf of him and to understand his thinking and to relay it to all of you, but also to the country over the past 20 months, and then again before that on the campaign. And I'll still be around. I'm gonna just go to the other side so I can spend some more time with my kids. But again, thanks for everything. Gabe?
Caroline, you mentioned, well, you'll be working with MAGA Inc. And yesterday the president amplified a post on social media that said, I don't think the GOP fully grasped how badly they're effing up right now. He has previously said that some voters don't seem to like Republicans, but they do still like him. But at this point, is the president washing his hands of Republicans if they do poorly in November?
The president is wholeheartedly committed to helping Republicans across the board retain the majority. And I think voters across the country will be presented with a contrast between everything this president and Republicans have done. Largest middle-class tax cuts in history, no tax on tips, overtime, Social Security for our seniors. Democrats in this town want to talk a lot about affordability, but they voted against the largest tax cuts in American history. They voted against putting more money in people's pockets. So, you know, president's going to Texas tonight. He'll He'll engage in a fundraiser to keep loading up Republicans' coffers. There's obviously a huge cash advantage on the president's side, and he'll continue to go across the country, meet with everyday Americans, and push his message until the very last day. President Trump, there's no harder worker or greater fighter in politics than him, so you'll continue to see him stay out there. I do have a meeting in the Chief of Staff's office that I'm going to get to, so I'm not late for my last meeting, but thanks, guys, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Thank you.
That sucks. That's the bad news. Today is Caroline Leavitt's last day. In fact, right now, it's probably already over. President Trump honored her. Let me show you. Hopefully this works. I can bring it up. There it is. Let me move that comment so we can all take a look at it. But he put out a presidential proclamation and honoring Caroline. Let's see what it says here. Says, never surrender, Caroline Leavitt's historic tenure as White House press secretary. Today, Caroline Leavitt completes her final day as the 36th White House press secretary, the youngest person to ever hold the position and among the best to ever do it. She leaves the James S. Brady briefing room after a tenure defined by command, clarity, and an unrelenting defense of President Donald J. Trump and American First agenda. President Trump called her one of the best White House press secretaries in the history of the office, and that's the legacy she will then leave behind. And he goes through a number of her accomplishments. She refused to let reporters turn a briefing room into a stage for activism. She rejected questions that didn't deserve the dignity of longer replies. She responds with facts. And you guys can go on to whitehouse.gov, but they put a lengthy, I mean, look, I'm still scrolling, a lengthy amount of her accomplishments as the youngest press secretary in the United States history, if not the best one. In addition to that, she appeared on Fox and Friends this morning with basically a celebratory and a goodbye interview.
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
Take us behind the scenes more of what it's like one-on-one with the president when the two of you are talking and you're advising him. You're trying to get in his mindset, you know, in the minds of one of the most unpredictable presidents we've ever had. How do you get in that mode every day, and how do you even begin to prepare? And any more advice for the next person?
Well, something that's so great about President Trump, and I remember this all the time, is he's been dealing with the media and the press long before he even got into politics. I mean, he was, of course, a businessman, built a business empire in New York City and was on the front pages of many tabloids and was spinning up the press, you know, before I was even alive. So he's a pro at this game, and he gets how it's played. And so I've learned so much from him with respect to how to deal with the media. And, you know, he really is, like I say, his best spokesperson. We joke he's the real communications director here at the White House. So just following his lead and getting insight into how he thinks has been tremendously helpful to me as a young professional. And he's a pro at it. So you spend a lot of time together. But I will just say this. He is the best boss I have ever had. He is so fun. He has a great sense of humor. So many stories I could share about just traveling around the world with him, Air Force One, Marine One, countries all over the world, across our great country here, meeting with great Americans. He has a huge heart. He's hospitable. He's generous. And he loves this country and the American people. And so just so many moments I've seen him behind the scenes, away from the cameras, where he's touched the heart, I know, of so many Americans across the country, whether it's our veterans, our Gold Star families, our angel moms. He loves this country, and it's just been such a joy and, again, a blessing to see that firsthand.
After 19 months on the job, one key person is saying goodbye to the West Wing.
That's right. Joining us now in her last official interview as White House Press Secretary, Caroline Leavitt. Good morning to you, Caroline.
Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
We're
I appreciate
so glad
it.
you're on. How are you feeling? What are your plans?
Well, I'm feeling good. You know, of course, it's a little bit bittersweet. It's bitter because I'm leaving a job that I love so very much. And it's been the honor and blessing of a lifetime to work for this president, President Trump. There will never be another like him, and to serve as his spokesperson behind that podium. It has been the adventure of a lifetime. And I am so grateful to him for believing in me and allowing me to serve in this role over the last 20 months. And now being very understanding as a boss and a friend that it's time for me to take a step back so I can spend more time with my two beautiful children. Of course, I have a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old. They're just at a critical time in their life where they need their mom home a little bit more. So I look forward to spending more time with them, but continuing to serve the president as a top advisor on the outside. I'm grateful to him that he still wants me to stick around just in a way that I can spend more time with family. So it's been, again, just such an adventure working here with the president, with our great White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, our first female Chief of Staff in history, and all of the great people that work around the clock here every day to make our country strong and safe and secure. It's been the adventure of a lifetime.
Well, Caroline, you have mastered being able to know where the president stands on every issue. You are definitely an upgrade at the podium. I'll ask you this. Where does the president stand on my home state of Texas? I know he's heading there today for a Republican fundraiser there to help out Ken Paxton. What has been said on the ground now? Are we going to win it there?
Republicans are going to win Texas, let me tell you, and President Trump is headed to Houston tonight to host a fundraiser for the RNC to continue increasing the Republican cash advantage as we head into this election season. The president tomorrow is actually going to visit the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, with NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman, who's doing a tremendous job. And the president is going to award the Congressional Space Medal of Honor to the Artemis II crew, who, of course, had a historic feat earlier this year under this president's tenure. And he'll talk about one of his most historic accomplishments from his first term, the establishment of Space Force. So president will raise some money tonight. Tomorrow, he'll go back to the business of being president and joining the great astronauts and engineers and employees at the NASA Space Center in Houston, Texas. I know he looks forward to the trip.
And I know he sat down with Trey Gowdy. The whole interview is going to air on Sunday. But here's a clip on the president talking about the midterms.
There's a theory that I get the vote. You know, I see it all the time, that when Trump's on the ballot, they win. When he's not on the ballot, the people don't go to vote. And I'm asking the people through your brilliant show, #1 show, I'm asking the people to get out and vote, pretend I'm on the ballot. If they go out and vote, we're going to win. And if we don't, our country's going to be in sad shape because we're going to go through a lot of things.
And part of that, Caroline, is winning is spending, too. The president's got this award chest, which he earned every cent of it by doing an endless amount of fundraisers. How much is he looking to spend in Texas to try to save Ken Paxton?
Well, I don't have an exact dollar figure for you. I still am a government employee here at the White House today, but I to spend money to ensure Republicans get over the finish line. I also know he's going to be out there traversing the country, meeting with everyday Americans and campaigning on behalf of the great Republican candidates across the board. What your audience needs to remember is what this president and Republicans in Congress have done. The largest middle-class tax cuts in American history. No tax on tips for our workers, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors. That's putting more money in your pockets today. And Democrats voted against every single one of those policies. So they want to talk about affordability. They voted to raise your taxes. They voted against the largest middle-class tax cuts in American history. Look at our border. The president inherited a mess, a wide-open border from the Democrats and the Biden administration. He sealed it on day one. We are deporting violent, illegal alien criminals from this country. The Democrats are complete radicals on this issue. They want to open our prisons, abolish our police, and keep our borders wide open to countries and criminals all over this world. So there's a huge contrast on the ballot, and you're going to continue to hear the president drive that contrast and travel across the country.
So, you know, she's exactly right. That's what I was saying a couple days ago. It's something you guys can hammer home. For all these people worried about affordability, why is it when there was an opportunity to provide people with ability to have more take-home money by having no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, you have the opportunity to put more money in people's pocket so that affordability aspect of, well, I believe the fake aspect of things could be solved, but you don't want to. And now you've got socialists who are actually running for office, who some people on X say they'd rather see in office, which if you think things are hard to afford now, what the hell do you think is going to happen if these people get in power? That's one of the other reasons why I think this is all a ruse. How in the hell can you be saying, I don't have enough money for this, this, and this, yet you're turning around and voting for people who want to take all your money? Make that make sense.
Caroline, we're still in the middle of this conflict with Iran. What is the latest on the ground? How are the negotiations? It looks like it's maximum pressure economically there. Could we see a return, though, to combat operations?
Well, right now, we're focused on Operation Economic Outcast, which Secretary Bessent announced this week, crippling sanctions on the Iranian regime and their economy, which we already know is in free fall. They are in a devastating place. Inflation is over 100%. They can't pay their police. They can't pay their military. They're in a very weakened position already. And now Secretary Bessent and the president are continuing to pull every economic lever. And of course, this follows Operation Epic Fury, which was hugely successful in diminishing the Iranian regime's military, completely wiping out their Navy, their Air Force, and really crippling their military infrastructure. What President Trump's #1 goal has been and will always be is to ensure that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon, period. And so we've had Operation Epic Fury to destroy their military. Now we have Operation Economic Outcast to destroy their economy. No negotiations are happening right now, and this will continue until the president feels that maybe they come to the table in a meaningful way. We have not seen that yet, but of course, that's at the discretion of the president. As commander-in-chief, he of course continues to retain all options on the table, and the naval blockade continues to be in effect as well, which has proven hugely successful. The United States is essentially controlling the Strait of Hormuz, which remains open thanks to President Trump and the United States military.
This morning when we woke up, we saw that, or actually yesterday, that devastating the waters running through Nepal. We have a lot of Americans there. 65 are missing, 65 Americans. And I know that Marco Rubio said the U.S. State Department's ready to provide emergency humanitarian assistance. How will we be involved in this? What can we do?
Yes, well, I spoke to the State Department this morning, and they have rescued a handful of Americans, and we will continue to do that. The U.S. Embassy in Nepal is in close contact with local authorities.
By the way, if you haven't seen some of those flood videos, it's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that from all the different flash floods and tidal waves. This was horrific. They never had a chance. Nothing. Forget sirens. There was nothing they could do. It's so sad.
Is on the ground. And of course, the secretary himself is closely monitoring this. I spoke to him about it yesterday. We've offered our help and our assistance. But of course, the first priority for this president and for Secretary Rubio will always be Americans. And so we're focused on rescuing every American that we possibly can. We're already, of course, doing that. As I said, we've rescued a handful thus far, and that effort will continue.
So I want to talk about data centers. It's one of the hottest political issues that caught many people by surprise in the midterm elections. You have even Republican governors putting a pause on this. The President of the United States is firmly backing data centers. What is the message for those people who want to win the AI race, but yet are concerned about the data centers in their neighborhood?
Well, what President Trump said recently when gaggling, I think it was on Air Force One when we were headed to South Carolina, he said that each candidate across the board needs to listen to the constituents in their community and speak on this with respect to what their constituents in their community wants. If a community wants a data center to be built, President Trump and Republicans believe that is a good thing for that community. It's going to bring jobs. Thanks to the president, he has signed a historic ratepayer protection pledge with all of these AI companies and data companies that they are going to pick up the bill for the electricity that is built in these communities so that the everyday Americans living there will not have to foot the bill and front the cost. That's, again, a historic, noble agreement that only this president could think of and then implement. And so we already have that in place. And the president and Republicans want to leave it up to to Americans in these communities. If they want a data center built, the president believes that's a good thing. We can't lose this race to China and to our competitors across the board. America must remain dominant in the AI race. It is the future. I think the American people understand that, and this president certainly does.
100%. Caroline, so this is your final day. and we wanted to take a moment to reflect and go down memory lane. Here is from the first day of you being at the podium. Let's watch.
We expect you to cover that, as you should, Caitlin, but you and your network know that you take every single thing this administration says and tries to use it to make the president look bad. You're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question.
And so if there were peaceful protests on Saturday for the military parade, President Trump would allow that?
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question. My first reaction when seeing former President Biden was speaking tonight was, I'm shocked that he is speaking at nighttime. I have thought his bedtime was much earlier.
There is now a member of the European Parliament from France who does not think the U.S. represents the values of the Statue of Liberty anymore. They want the Statue of Liberty back.
It's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country. I gave a quote to one of the media outlets in this room yesterday that Democrats behaving like children would be the least surprising thing of the night. And unfortunately, that quote did turn out to be true. He looks forward to watching the game tonight, and we look forward to the United States beating our soon-to-be 51st state, Canada.
What do you think, Caroline?
Oh man, good times, great memories. There's nothing like stepping before that podium, and I'll just tell you, I'm so grateful to the president for believing in me and giving me the chance to do it. So many people told him when he was considering me for this job, after of course I worked for him on his historic 2024 campaign, that I was too young, and he ignored all the doubters and he gave me a chance, and I am forever grateful to him for that. He is not only the best president our nation has ever had, but he is the best boss. And I'm just so grateful that he understands my decision to leave this amazing job, but to spend more time with my kids and just love him. There will never be another like him, that's for sure.
Oh, well, Caroline, we are so happy for you. You've done a great job. You're the youngest press secretary ever, so you made history and you handled it with grace. Caroline, we do have a special guest. We want to bring in someone that knows what you're going through. We have our very own Dana Perino, who was press secretary under George W. Bush, and she joins us now. Good morning to you, Dana.
Good morning. Good morning, Caroline.
Morning.
Hi, Dana.
Dana, I know you have said that all eyes now turn right after the midterms to the general election, and many of the White House reporters will now go on the campaign trail. So what is the challenge for the next press secretary after the midterms?
Well, I think if just looking at that montage of Caroline, it's hard to explain, unless you've been in the job, it's hard to explain what it's like. But you just ran her through an interview where she could talk about any issue very fluently. You have to be, a mile wide and a mile deep on all of the issues. You also have to have the complete trust of the press, the president, and your colleagues. And then what happens when the midterms finish on November 3rd is that it's just inevitable. It's not a knock against anybody. It's just the natural way things are. The media and the public starts thinking about who's next, and they start looking over that shoulder to see who it is. You already see it in a lot of ways. So those last 2 years of any second term are very challenging for any president because, one, the attention starts to turn there. You still have a big job to do. Now, with President Trump, he'll still be able to command a lot of attention. As Caroline said, there will never be another like him. And I think that one thing that she showed is that if you had a question for Caroline about the president or the government, and you went to her and she told you the answer, you could take it to the bank because she had the access to the president and the trust of the president. And more importantly, too, I think, the trust of your colleagues. You have to be the person who can fairly represent everything that's coming in. And at her young age, to have that kind of poise, grace, wit, and grit is incredible. But also, when she's not on camera, the self-deprecation is adorable. I think that one time she told me that her older brothers are the ones that kept her grounded, and they don't think of her as press secretary, they think of her as a little sister. I kind of think of her as a little sister too, and I'm so excited for your future, Caroline.
Thank you, Dana. That's so nice. Dana's the best. She's a great mentor, great friend. She's also someone you can text at 5 a.m. and she always answers you. I can personally attest to that. She's always up bright and early, just like me. Thank you, Dana.
Right. Good luck to you and your children, and of course, Nick as well.
Thank you.
All right. And now she rides off into the sunset. I have a feeling that President Trump is going to fill this position rather quickly. He filled one just a second ago. Let me see if this comes up correctly. Okay. This says, I am pleased to announce that effective September 2nd, Ben Moss will become Assistant to the President and White House Staff Secretary, replacing our current White House counsel, Will Sharp. Will did a truly outstanding job as Staff Secretary, and I will no doubt be an amazing White House counsel. Ben has been tremendous as Deputy Staff Secretary, and before that as Policy Director to the Vice President. Ben started in government as general counsel to J.D. Vance in the United States Senate after serving as a law clerk to a highly respected federal appeals court judge and a lawyer in private practice. He was a top student at the University of Chicago Law School, one of the best law schools in the country, and more importantly, he is a patriot who loves our beautiful country, and he will do a great job as staff secretary. Congratulations to Ben. All right, so he put that out. Then, or shortly thereafter, or a little bit before, oh, Mark Carney's got to be absolutely freaking out. President Trump posted this. Breaking news to the Office of the Secretary of Department of the Interior from Director U.S. Geological Survey regarding the renaming of Lake Ontario to Lake America. As of 4:30 today, the U.S. Geological Survey has officially designated the former Lake Ontario to be renamed as Lake America in all official U.S. USGS electronic documents. The change will begin occurring in printed documents over the next several days. This change has also been made official in the Geographic Names Information System. Should you have any further questions, please contact me for clarification. Thank you, Ned. Ned is Dr. Ned Mamula, the director of the U.S. Geological Survey, United States Department of the Interior, and there you have it. Lake America is the new Great Lakes up there. No longer Lake Ontario, just like that. I mean, literally just like that. Oh, boy.
Boom! I won't say it. I almost said it.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, how fast did that move? He teased it last night with the meme he put out, and then today the executive order, and then now the Geological Survey made it official. I'm like, oh my gosh! Just
he's trying to cope. He's trying to cope so hard. I just saw he posted on his X because somebody responded to it. Like and the comments are ruthless. Like people.
On Mark Carney.
Oh yeah. Let me. I'll just send it to you real quick if you want to bring it up. Here it goes. And
yeah, this is funny.
There it is. I think it's the English version because he had posted it in French. I hope you can read it. Let's see.
Yeah, it's English. Okay, so what to say? The name Lake Ontario comes from the Wendat word Ontario, which probably means the lake is beautiful, the lake is big. The name is more than 400 years old, predating both the Confederation of Canada and the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America. We know that America is changing their trading relationships, their foreign policies, their national monuments, their hydronyms. Canadians also know that naming reality means calling it Lake Ontario then, now, and always. Good luck with that.
Look at the comments.
Once it's on the international radios and everything else,
oh yeah,
so much more aura. What's this one say?
Some of the memes are just. There's one with Trump's next to a tombstone showing.
Canadians right now.
Oh, copium is in high demand right now. Snow, Mexico.
Oh gosh! Greetings from Lake America. Wish you were here. Oh my god.
It just goes on and on and on. And Hillary Clinton, she posted. She goes, "It's Lake Ontario." Of course, when you look at it, the comments are turned off.
Oh my gosh!
Coward.
Boy. They can't take it. They can't take it. Oh my gosh. All right, so I got this one from you from Gunther. What's this all about?
Yeah, so this is some news. This is going to be at Fort Drum. So New York hasn't built a nuclear plant since Reagan was in office. That's changed. Fort Drum, Army land, Westinghouse, first reactor in the state in almost 40 years. While politicians spent decades lecturing everyone about green energy, windmills, and all that crap, the 10th Mountain Division is putting a reactor on base so the grid can't take them offline. This is how you actually power a country.
So Fort Drum, Army land,
That's
meaning
That's the news.
federal, right? So they can't touch
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
So what are
Nope,
they going to
that's
use? What are
correct.
they going to use the energy for? Is it going to be just for the Army, or are they going to help power New York? That's interesting.
That hasn't been delineated yet, but it's definitely going to power Fort Drum. You know where that's up in northern New York State.
Yeah.
I've driven by it so many times on my way to Canada.
Oh, here's one about your great governor. What did she do now?
Yeah, Barry, I know. I do this just to yeah. So outrage erupts after 33% of a child sexting operation in Democrat run. There's that Fairfax County again. There were illegal aliens, 33% of them, and they're all been let out of jail. Spanberger and Soros prosecutor Steve Toscano are complicit. Of 9 arrests in one go, 3 are illegals, and they thought they were meeting kids for, you know what, all had criminal histories as predators. I mean, what? And look, they're smiling like, yeah, it's a great thing.
Why? I mean, they never say why. Why would you do this? Why
Makes
would you
no
ever?
sense.
Makes no sense at all. Who is your big daddy that you guys are bending over for? Because man, this doesn't make any sense. So, like, what's this one from Dory? I guess about Talafrico.
Yeah, so Trump just posted, I guess he's on his way down to Houston, Texas. So he posted a meme that about Telefrico, and he says this is what he's for. So state income tax for Texas, gun confiscation, baby on arriving on demand, wide open borders, amnesty for all illegals. You know how that goes. Changing the surgery for kids, you know that, pushing the LGBTQTIA++ agenda in schools, men and women in sports and restrooms, packing the SCOTUS with leftist judges, abolishing the Electoral College, and to finalize it, abolishing prisons and the incarceration of criminals. Sounds like a guy somebody wants to vote for, huh? Not in Texas. I mean, how is he allegedly leading in the polls, too? I mean, it makes no sense.
Because it's a poll.
I know.
It's a poll. The polls are fake. Oh my gosh. We got one. Oh my gosh. What is all this? This is a big one. What do you got here?
All right. So maybe if you can scroll down to the picture first. So Trump just posted this literally like 10, 15 minutes ago. So this is what he posted. He ranked all the presidents. So he had the failures at the bottom, which you can see it's Biden, Obama, Grant, Harding, Carter. And then it goes up to the top. Look, who's the greatest? Oh, Trump.
Oh gosh, they hate it. They hate him for doing that. I mean, he trolls. They can't even discern between what's real and what's a troll at this point. It's too much for them. Oh gosh. Oh man. All right. So I have it. My next segment. Guys are probably going to end up. Thanks, SP.
See you soon.
Okay, we're going to probably end up laughing uncontrollably, basically, because I don't know if you've seen it. Let me just set it up for you. When what's his name? Abdul El Sayed went on Jesse Waters the other day. I've had this in the tank for a couple of days, but I wanted to show it to you today. Before that, let me talk to you about Chapter. Medicare, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, is quite confusing. As someone who turned 65 last year and had to start making all the changes, I can confirm this. Keeping track of enrollment periods. Understanding what an enrollment period actually is, understanding all your options, and making sure you're on the right plan takes a lot of time, too much time, and a lot of energy. And between Medicare scams, corrupt agents, and bloated insurance companies, it's easy to make mistakes that can cost you thousands. That's why I'm happy I called Chapter and have been working with these guys for over a year. They're actually honest and the only Medicare advisor that looks at every plan nationwide. helping people save an average of $1,100 a year. People are so relieved when they talk to Chapter. It's a free call, doesn't cost you anything. These guys won't push you to buy a plan that you don't want, and their support, as I just mentioned, is completely free. So if you're turning 65 soon, or you have questions about your Medicare coverage, call them at 475-328-3545 to get the most out of Medicare. Most people wish they'd call sooner when they get a chance to talk to them. Or you can go to the website, askchapter.org/Barry, to book a one-on-one consultation at no charge. It's completely free. It's going to take you about 15 or 20 minutes, and you'll find all about your options. So give them a call. 475-328-3545, 90 seconds.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
You know, I told Robin I had this piece ready for you guys to show you this interview that occurred on Jesse Waters' show with Abdul El Sayed. And I thought, you know, it's been a couple days. One of people have seen it even. You know, many of you guys I know don't have cable television. But before we begin, I just want to salute Abdul, because at least he had the chutzpah. He had the cojones to actually go on Jesse Waters' show. And Jesse, I have to give him a salute, because he could have sliced and diced this guy so many different ways. This was an expose on the socialists. They've got, I've said it before, they've got nothing. These people are vapid holes. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're insane. And yet we're supposed to believe they are in consideration for winning major races. The woman down here in Jacksonville, who owns the pornographic bookstore. Are you kidding me? It's amazing once these people now have to go in front of the camera and talk to people, how they're getting exposed. You have to be a complete blithering idiot to think these people belong in government. But let's go.
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed joins us now. How you doing, Abdul?
I'm good, Jesse. I appreciate the opportunity for a good, wholesome conversation, and I just want to start where we agree. We both played football and lacrosse. We both love America. We both love freedom, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. We'll see.
Now, you remember the last time I featured him, and I told you, watch him. Watch him. He has to keep blinking. Dude, what are you blinking so much for? Because you're trying to get through an answer. You're trying to talk. Already, not even, I don't know, 20 seconds into this, and he's in a blinkorama already.
How much we agree on. I know I don't agree with you on this. You want to abolish ICE. Who's going to deport the criminal aliens from the country?
Well, you and I both know that long before we ever had ICE, we had INS. We were able to enforce our immigration policies without shooting people in the face and the back of the head. And we just celebrated our 250th anniversary. That was an anniversary of throwing away tyranny. Now, to bring that tyranny back under the guise of the U.S. government itself, that seems to me to be inconsistent with the freedom you and I both love.
Yeah,
and
but I
the
mean,
question
that's a
gotta ask you
dodge,
is,
Abdul.
don't you
They
think we
did
could
the
do better
same
than that?
thing as ICE back then, INS. Do you know how many illegal aliens are in the
They didn't
country
shoot
now?
people in the face and the back of the head.
Do you know how many illegal aliens
So
are
my
in the
question is
country
this.
now?
We had, no, I mean, to your point, Jesse, let me just answer the question. To your
Answer
point,
it. How many
we had
do we
far
have?
fewer when we had INS. To your answer, we had
exactly.
far fewer when we had
exactly.
INS. So
we now
arguably
have
INS worked a lot better.
Abdul, listen, we had twice as many
We got
illegals
ICE
now
we
when
have
we
way
had
more.
INS.
So to your argument,
you have to have
to
the
your argument,
manpower
Jesse,
to do
look,
it.
If you want to do that correlation, we have ICE now, and we have far, far more undocumented people. So ICE is clear.
Hey, nut job. How did we get so many more people? How come we weren't having this conversation 15 years ago? What happened in the last 4 years that we have so many of them? And they're not undocumented, they're freaking illegal. You change the language. I can't take you serious when you keep using, metaphors. But what you just saw in the first minute is what's going to continue. Hey, is the sky blue? I'm not really sure. What's most important is Trump.
Not working. It's just shooting like American citizens in the face and the back of the head. So
Well,
if you're okay
illegals
with
are
that,
shooting
then I guess
people
we
in the
just
face,
have to agree
too.
to disagree.
Abdul, you got a guy
Yes,
in Michigan.
so are American citizens.
You got a
I just
guy.
think, look,
let me
we
just
have
say
a
something,
responsibility
okay?
to get
Abdul,
back to the conversation about the broader issues.
Okay.
Well, you cut me off, Jesse, and you said we're going to have a good conversation, so I'd like to do that. I just want to answer the point. When I travel the state, and I have traveled my state, more people are asking me about how they're going to afford their gas and groceries. They're not asking me about immigration.
Well,
now,
they also don't want to get molested. Abdul, you got a guy here from Southeast Asia, molested a kid. ICE just picked him up. You want that guy to stay in Michigan?
I'm glad that guy got picked up, but that's a different thing than saying that INS would not have picked him up. Jesse, you're too smart for this.
It's a bureaucratic game you're playing, and that's a dodge.
You point to him, you say,
you need guys to get these guys out of the country.
And therefore,
It's hard to watch this guy. I understand. That's why I'm giving you a second, because his eyes, there's something wrong here. Any body language expert will tell you you're lying. You're trying to get through this. You're thinking of something else to say. You're trying to remember what your people in your camp told you to say. Oh, they got shot in the head. Oh yeah, he got shot in the face. Oh yeah, dude, relax, chill, breathe, have a conversation. This is what I was saying earlier in the show. Democrats, especially the socialists, they can't answer questions. They can't or won't answer questions because it doesn't matter to them. That's why they can't answer it. They don't care by any means necessary.
we need ICE. I'm just saying, look, playing by your own rules. When we had INS, we had fewer people doing the things that you're talking about.
That's because Biden didn't blow open the border
back
then.
when we had that.
All right, that's because Biden didn't blow open the border
And that's
back
not
then.
an ICE question. That's a CBP question.
No,
Jesse,
you
that's
guys
a CBP
let in a
question.
ton
You
of
know better than
people,
that.
and we got to get them out, and we'll take the guys out the way we need to take them out. Green New Deal, you back that up. Do you drive an electric car?
I drive a plug-in hybrid made right in the United States. The bigger question about cars, though, is why the president just started a trade war or escalated a trade war with Canada. It's about to make all of our cars, especially the internal combustion engine cars, so much more expensive.
You
Also,
want
we
to
can
get
talk about
rid of the
actual war in
internal
Iran that's raising our
combustion
gas
engine.
prices. No, I don't. Who told you that?
That's what the Green
My
New
dad
Deal
came to America
says.
to design internal combustion engines. No, that's
The
not
Green
what
New Deal says phase out
It says
fossil
that we
fuels.
Can build renewable energy opportunities. Look, I'm not going to defend the Green New Deal. What I'm telling you, though, is that we.
Look, I'm for the Green New Deal, but I'm not going to defend it. What the hell does that mean? I am for it, but I don't want to defend it. And if you really think that Canada is going to make our cars more expensive, you're a bigger moron than we even think. I don't buy my cars from Canada. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. What do you mean that the trade war with Canada is going to cost us more money down here? Have you not seen the trade imbalance? Do you even know? I bet he doesn't.
You're on the record as backing the Green New Deal, Abdul.
Look, I'm just telling you this. Are you opposed to the idea that we could reduce energy costs and create jobs in Michigan?
Absolutely, but I don't want windmills in Lake Michigan.
So you're absolutely opposed to that?
Yeah, I don't want to put windmills in Lake Michigan.
You'd
Do
rather
you?
have windmills.
I don't think the people in Michigan want that, Abdul.
Right now
If you're running on that, that's not going to go over too well.
We have a pipeline. No. I mean, Jesse, look, we can have a conversation if you want to. If you want to keep cutting me off, we could keep doing that too. But you told me we're going to have a good conversation. I just want to talk about something. Right now, we have an oil pipeline in the Great Lakes. If that oil pipeline were to burst, the consequences for our Great Lakes would be disastrous. Now, you're telling me that you'd rather have a situation where that happened than a windmill? That really is so offensive to you?
No.
Now, those windmills are good
I'm saying I don't want to get rid of fossil fuels, and that's what the Green New Deal does. Let's move on. You want to soak the rich. Look, Rabdul, because this isn't a podcast. I got to sell ads in the break.
Oh, I love that. This isn't a podcast. I got to sell ads. Guess what, Jesse? We sell ads too. And some people get actually pissed off that we have ads. Don't ever apologize. I keep telling people, don't apologize for prosperity. Jesse's like, hey, got to keep going. I got to sell some ads.
You want to soak the rich. Let's listen to what you said about the taxes. Run it.
I also think we got to start taxing wealth for people who have over $100 million. I mean, at that point, like, what even are you going to do with more money?
What are you going to do with more money? I mean, whatever I want.
I mean, Jesse, I don't know how much you make. Look,
not $1 billion.
I think I'd rather have. Well, yeah, look, so that's exactly it, right? The question ultimately is, do you want to drive on good roads, or would you rather have a billionaire make a second billion? That's what Mike Rogers wants. That's what Donald Trump wants. Apparently, that's what you want. I think the people in Michigan want something different. They want good roads and good schools.
So you're saying Beyonce, who just became a billionaire, she has to break you off something every year? She has to pay the politicians?
It's not me. It's the American public.
You're
Beyonce,
the one that wants the money.
To be able to contribute back to the public schools that she went to. I think.
How tired of you are? How tired are you of hearing people give money back to the schools? Give money back to the schools. Ashley was telling me my grandkids are back in school, as maybe yours are as well. And she said, it's amazing now that the parents have to pay for the teachers' supplies. For paper for the copier, the parents have to pay for it. For construction paper, for scissors. I'm like, well, what the hell is the education budget for? Where's that money going that every homeowner pays for so that little Johnny and Susie can go to school? Where the hell did that money go? And if the parents now have to spend an average of $300 or $400 each to provide for the teachers? This isn't for my grandkids. She wasn't paying money for the 3 grandkids. She was paying it for the teachers. The teachers are like, we need copier paper. We need scissors. We need construction paper. We need glue. How the hell is that the parents? But yet, every single election, you could actually just have a tape and just play it. Oh, we need more money for schools. Well, if the school enrollments are going down, if people supposedly are having less children, what do we need more money for? Has anybody asked these people? Just yesterday, an article came out in the paper down here. Palm Beach County has 7,000 less students. We all know why. We know the Haitians. We know the Venezuela. We got a whole bunch of people had to go away. 7,000 less students. Wouldn't that indicate if there were 7,000 less students, that would most assuredly mean there's less people to pay for. So why do you need more money than last year? It doesn't make any economic sense. So if Americans are having less children, and if we're getting rid of the basic leeches from other countries, why do you continue to need more money?
She'd be happy to invest in good roads in her community. I think she'd be happy to pay a little bit more so that everybody had a little bit more.
You're reaching a little deep into the pockets,
to be defending billionaires from your channel, Jesse. That's a crazy thing. I thought you were for. I'm just saying. Look, at the end of the day, I thought you were for the everyday man. Like if you're for billionaires more than you're for every other person, well, you and I are just going to disagree.
No, I just think I have the right to the fruits of my own labor. That's America. It's not communist what you're talking about.
No, the problem
Let
with
me
it,
ask
Jesse,
you
is
about
you and I both
socialized
know
health care.
Billionaires don't make money. Let me just answer the question.
Sure.
No. Let me go back to that.
Go ahead.
Billionaires don't make their money off of their labor. That, I think, is where you head off. Billionaires that make their money off their money. So if you
And there's so many, even people on the right, who believe that. Billionaires don't make money on their efforts. They make money on their money. Where did the effort go to start the business, to start the company? There was no effort? And then every single one of you that has a CD or an IRA or any sort of investment where you're getting a dividend or you're getting some sort of interest, they're saying you're not making that money. That's what he just said. Forget, you don't have to be a billionaire. You have to understand what they're looking at. You're not making that money. That money's just being given to you. They don't understand, or actually they do understand capital gains, and they don't want you to have any capital gains. You worked, you invested, you put money aside. That money is now working for you as if it's an employee. Go make me money. And he looked at it as though that's a bad thing. Oh my gosh, the billionaires don't make any money. They make money on their money. Everybody makes money on their money. That's the objective. The objective is that if we can get to a position where we've got a retirement account, we've got an IRA, we've got some sort of vehicle that pays for things, that spins off interest and dividends and appreciation. Our younger people have no clue about this stuff. They have no idea that you get paid based upon the intelligence that you have to go ahead and make your investments. This, an ounce of silver. When I bought it, it was probably 28 bucks for an ounce of silver. Silver today, last time I checked, is close to 70. I made money on my money, so I'm not entitled to it because I made money on the money. No, I'm especially entitled to it because I bought it at 28. This gold, this is I think a tenth of an ounce of gold. So here we are. I think it's a tenth or an eighth. This is worth, if you took gold's 47 or 4,800 bucks an ounce, and this is a tenth of an ounce, this is 500 bucks right there. And it keeps changing and keeps going up and down. What they don't want you to do, in no uncertain terms, is they don't want you to profit from investments. That is the essence of capitalism. And they say it right now, oh, the billionaires, we need, sell this, Barry. It's just been sitting on your desk and you've been just holding it up. You're not really doing anything with it. Yeah, I am. Look, it's working for me right now. Do something. And they don't want us to have that.
$1 billion, your billion makes another 100 million. That's not the fruits of your labor. That's just the fruits of your money making money. I think.
Shoot him. Oh my God. That's just the fruits. That's not the fruits of your labor. It's just your money making money. I guess this guy has never bought a T-bill. I guess he's never put money into a CD. I guess he's never invested into a business. I guess he's never bought a home. The whole objective in economics is for your money to make you more money. And if I'm telling you something new here, write it down. Make sure you understand what the idea here is. The idea is for your investments to grow, to make more money on your money. I can leave this piece of silver on my desk here. It doesn't look like it's doing anything. But it is. It's working right now, and it is the fruits of my labor. This wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be here if it weren't for the fruits of my labor and whatever you guys are doing with your investments.
It's okay. Like if we tax you at 7%, you're still gonna make what, a cool $30 million off your $1 billion? I think it's okay. They're gonna be okay, Jesse.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of politicians like you capping how much money people make in America. That's just me. We can have the voters in Michigan decide. You say you want socialized health care. Abdul, how much is that going to cost?
It's going to cost the average Michigander a whole lot less than they pay right now. But I'm just going to tell you.
No, but what's the
I'm
price
up against
tag
a
of the
guy
program?
who voted to raise prescription drug prices 19 times, right? And so I'm just saying I want to bring your costs down. The price of the program is going to be substantially less for an everyday person who's out here who can't afford their health care and worried about losing their health care with their job.
Well,
Define everyday person. See, that's another thing. The everyday person, the everyday American. Well, what am I? What are you? How do you define everyday American? Do you have to be broke to be an everyday American? For me to have to use your crappy insurance? I'm going to be forced to buy Medicare for all? I'm going to have to pay into it, even though I don't want it? How is it making things better for me? They never want to answer these questions.
The total number. While you're out here trying to talk about the broader national budget, I'm a lot more interested in the everyday budgets that Michiganders are thinking about. And that's exactly the budget that Donald Trump and Mike Rogers are blowing up right now.
Well,
I just don't see why you're so on the side of the billionaires, Jesse, rather than on the side of everyday Michiganders.
No, because I don't want you guys to blow the country up. Do you know how much the federal budget is now?
This is great. This is great. Understand, this guy, you thought what Darlene Graham did was bad when she fumbled about national security? Listen to this.
Neither do I. Here's exactly
What's the federal budget?
You guys want to, right? Pete Hegseth, who used to work
answer
for
the question.
your
Do you know what the federal budget
wanted
is?
to raise. No. I just want to talk about this. Look, you want to talk about budgets? I'm happy to do that. The guy who used to work on your channel, I think he was like the 6th host on the 5. He wanted to raise our military budget to $1.5 trillion, and you don't seem to be upset about that. What, so we can fight a war we don't know how to get out of, to raise our gas prices $5 a gallon? That doesn't make sense to me, Jesse. We want to talk about the things that we actually should spend on. To me,
I
that's
have a feeling,
and
Abdul,
childcare
you don't
and
even
good
know how
schools.
much money the government spends every year. Do you know?
Look, the question, Jesse, to me
All right,
is,
so you don't know. Let me tell you what it is. It's $7 trillion.
Doesn't know. He doesn't even know what the government spends every year. He's taking shots. He's trying to deflect. Oh, the 6th host. He's talking about Pete Hegseth. And they're going to raise all this money, and they want to spend $1 trillion on a war that nobody wants. This was bad. This was very bad for the everyday American to see.
And your plan,
Jesse,
to take over the healthcare system is $4 trillion.
And here's the problem with it. So to exactly your point,
I mean,
do you know what
I'm not very good at math. I don't think you're very good at math either, but go ahead.
Clearly you don't. And you don't seem to care. But I don't think most Americans want to spend that much money on military escapades so that the folks stranded on the USS Abraham Lincoln can't even get a sausage for breakfast. I just think that we could do a lot better with our money, Jesse, and I think that's where you and I tend to disagree.
I just disagree.
Mike Rogers agrees with you.
I think if you spend $4 trillion, everything else is going to get really expensive. You're going to look back at Bidenflation, and you're going to wish you were back there. But you brought up foreign policy.
You want to talk about inflation? I'd be happy to talk about inflation. Jesse, you actually said the word. Because everywhere I go in Michigan, people are talking about the fact that they've never had to worry as much about life being as unaffordable as they say right now. Now, I get it. Donald Trump likes to blame everything on his predecessor. But let's be clear, this is Donald Trump's economy right now. And he's about to make everything so much worse because he's in a vanity war with the Prime Minister of Canada. And look, like, I'm in Michigan, and you're from New York, right? So you know Canadians, man. They're the only people I know who apologized before they even did his thing. So now they're raising the tariff to 50%. What's that going to do to inflation?
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that is very hard for me when I'm talking to people and I'm doing this show is because I don't want to offend anybody. And I don't want people to feel as though boomers did everything. And I'm going to be putting a video out tomorrow that's pretty much going to highlight what the problem is for people who have, well, the younger people who have this so-called affordability issue. And it's very interesting when you start talking to people. There was a sportswoman, and she had put up a post. I'll show it tomorrow. And she said, I just want you, everybody who's working in the sports industry, to put down what your pay was at your first job. And people were like, I used to get paid $1 an article. I got paid 70 cents an article. My starting salary was $18,000. And these people weren't talking about, 50 years ago. And people were talking about, what do you mean pay? I volunteered so I'd have the ability to put on my resume that I wrote for the Associated Press. And we did what we did so that we could build that resume, build that credibility, so that we wouldn't have to worry years later about, having to eat ramen. We ate the ramen. We went to school. We ate ramen. We ate Spam. We bought the 69-cent Kraft macaroni and cheese. We all did it. These kids don't want to do it. And so when he's saying, I talk to everyday Michiganders who say they can't afford anything, did you ask them if they could afford it 4 years ago? Did you ask them straight up, how long has it been since you have been, in this unaffordable problem you have? Remember, which they don't like to talk about, we're only talking since February 28th. February 28th, this war started. We are at this point 6 months into it. And you're trying to sell to the American people that everything before February 28th was peachy keen. This is a very dangerous proposition for every single Democrat and socialist, because if everything was peachy keen on February 28th, when it happens, and it will, where the prices are reflective of what happens after this, as President Trump calls it, this journey to Iran, and it comes down to pre-February 28th levels, what do you say at that point? Because you weren't crying about not buying a house last year. You weren't crying about having to eat Spam last year. This is a made-up chaos crisis. 6 months. Not even like one semester in a college education, year, academic year. And you're telling me your world has turned upside down in 6 friggin' months. That's where I think we need to start challenging people. And I'm talking about everybody. Are you telling me your life got turned upside down in 6 frickin' months? I'm not buying it.
What is spending $4 trillion going to do? I think it's going to make it a lot worse. But you brought up the war. Are you glad the Ayatollah is dead?
Yeah, I mean, look, he was a terrible person, but that's beyond the point. The bigger question is, should we have gone to war in the first place? So, look, I just want to be clear with you, right? I mean, I'm never going to defend the Iranian regime, but I am going to defend the idea that we probably shouldn't be fighting wars we don't know how to get out of. Oopsie, you go to war and you tell us that it's going to be a special military operation. That was in February. We're now in September almost, and we're still fighting the special military operation. I mean, it's not working for us, Jesse.
We're not really
this
fighting
is exactly what happens when we've got a dunce in the White House who doesn't know what he's doing.
So you'd go back in time, you'd give them back their nuke program, you'd give them back their Air Force, their Navy.
No, I'd go
because the nuke program's buried under a mountain of rubble.
And we actually had nuclear containment. Now, Jesse, you like to, I mean, look.
What? We had nuclear containment? What? I don't think the mullahs knew that. I'm pretty sure the mullahs were working their asses off trying to get the bomb. He just lied. He lied to everybody. Oh, he had his eyes closed. But anyway, he lied.
I understand selective memory about history, but we had a JCPOA that was well negotiated, that actually had nuclear nonproliferation far more securely than what we have right now after having gone to war for the better part of 6 months.
Yeah, I like the fact that the nuke program's buried under a mountain of rubble. They can't even get access to it, but that's me. I think we'll figure it out. The thing you said about...
So let's just stop there. So sure. Jesse, wait. I understand you're not good at math. I get that. I'll give you that. But science, we have to talk about science, okay?
Yeah.
You understand that, nuclear material doesn't just go away because you buried it under a mountain of rubble. You understand they can still go back and bury it out, right?
Yeah, we're watching it from Space Force.
So
and anybody
we're not any more secure than we were back then.
Okay, let's move on. You said getting rid of Sharia law was white supremacy. Let's roll the tape. Go.
I don't have to tell you that the same exact forces that drove native peoples from their land 2 centuries ago, destroyed Black Wall Street a century ago, bombed a building decades ago and tried to ban Sharia law not a decade ago, that those forces are alive and well today.
So getting rid of Sharia law is white supremacy. Can you explain that one?
Do you know what canon law is? Jesse, I assume you're Christian, right?
Yeah, tell me.
All right, so canon law is the name for Christian law. I don't begrudge you your right to practice your faith as you choose. I don't know why the idea that I could practice my faith as I choose is a problem. Nobody is trying to push Sharia law on anyone else, just like I hope nobody is trying to push canon law on anybody else, because we live in an America where you should have the freedom of your religion. So the idea that you have somebody like Tommy Tuberville, right, who, you know, barely was good at coaching football, is out here trying to...
See, everything they do, they have to insult somebody. Make your point. But you're assuming people haven't done their due diligence on Sharia law. You're assuming that we're stupid and we don't know what Sharia law is all about. And yes, he is correct. Everybody can worship as they see fit. The Jews can worship as they see fit. Christians, that's not the problem. The problem is what your law dictates. That's the problem. That is a huge problem that these people don't want to acknowledge.
And Sharia law, when there's less than 1% of the Muslim community in America, as if somehow Muslims are out here trying to push Sharia law, that seems to me to be deliberately targeting the Muslim community because they're different. And I'm just saying that, like, I have no issue with people practicing their faith. In fact, I would never want somebody to push their faith on me, and I would never want to push my faith on somebody else.
Good, because no one wants you to get rid of your religion.
And so the idea,
no one wants that.
So, but when people preemptively go out there and start preemptively passing laws to ban something that's not happening, what you're trying to do is target a very small community because they're different. And this operates. I mean, look, I'm just going to say, there's statistical evidence that the president
Sharia
and the vice
law in
president
Michigan
like
is
to
kind of
target me
scary.
simply
People
as a
don't
function
go
of my
for
faith.
that. You know, it's like men
Nobody's
aren't
trying to
equal
push it on
from
anybody,
women.
but, like,
It's like
I just
physical
think you
punishments.
like to say the word. Look, Jesse, look,
people
you
don't like
to
that
say
in
the
Michigan.
word
I'm just saying,
because it
I don't
seems
think
really,
that's a good
really
position.
foreign and scary. Nobody's pushing it. No, but Jesse, nobody's pushing it. You know what the issue is in America, in Michigan?
What?
The issue that people are worried about is not that somehow somebody's going to come and push Sharia law.
Oh, he's going to say it. It's going to be grocery prices and gas. Grocery price, I guarantee you.
On them. The issue in Michigan is people are worried about how they're going to afford their gas. The issue in Michigan.
Just go right back to the talking point. Bail on this conversation.
Is how am I going to see a doctor when I get sick? How am I going to keep my job? You're out here, honestly, you guys love to play this culture war game where you use these words that sound really foreign to avoid actually having to talk about the issues that everyday people like to talk about. Now, look, Mike Rogers is the guy I'm running against for U.S. Senate, and I know you've had him on your show. Maybe he answers questions. I don't know if he does.
I've actually never had him on.
Only, but look, you haven't. So he's ducking your show too because he's ducking. Look, can we all agree? Like,
I haven't
Jesse,
invited him on.
We're going to have a debate, right? Can we all agree that Mike Rogers is a beta? Can we all agree with that?
I haven't even had him on.
Dude won't even come on your show because he's afraid of getting grilled.
I will have him on.
That guy.
And I'm sure.
So let me ask you a question. Would you debate this guy? Nope. There's no reason to debate him because he won't say the truth. He will just continue going back to his talking points and closing his eyes and trying to think of what he needs to say. He wants to hit with jabs and uppercuts. He doesn't want to talk fact. He's asked him a number of questions, and all he's done is try to insult, patronize, look down his nose at everything, and then keeps falling back on, the everyday person. What everyday person? The other people like you who are running around, Dearborn? What everyday person? And it's funny because tomorrow is Friday. We're heading down to the Dolphins game again. And I just want him to go to a Detroit Lions game. I want him to go see the Michigan Wolverines. And then tell me, are these people everyday Michiganders? There's going to be 100,000 people in the Big House, which is what they call Michigan Wolverine Stadium, the Big House. 100,000 people. Are these people everyday Michiganders? Define that term, because that term is reserved for a very select few. It's not for every day. It's for that collection of people who need food stamps, who need to have SNAP benefits and welfare and Medicare. Not these 100,000 people here. You're ignoring them. Pisses me off.
Out here
but
talking
Abdul,
like, Jesse, let me just
can
say,
I back up
he's
for
out
one
here
second?
trying to talk about my.
Can I back up for 1 second?
I just want to finish my point. I'll finish. I swear I'll be quick.
Okay, because Mike Rogers isn't here to defend himself.
He thinks he's running against Hassan Piker. Well, maybe then he'll actually come on your show. Maybe I'm doing you a favor then. But the guy's a beta, doesn't like to answer questions, and he dodges every debate.
I don't think
sure
I
he's going to dodge you too.
Need Mike Rogers on the show, but thanks.
All I'm going to say is this.
Thanks for booking it. You know, I agree. Gas prices are too high. Gas prices are too high. Abdul, pipe down 1 second. Gas prices are too high. Green New Deal's not going to help that. You said that we get to keep our doctor. I've been told that before. We were lied to. So let's move on.
Jesse,
you said here. I want to move on because we do have to hit a break.
No, let me just finish the point.
Please.
You told me you want to say something.
Go ahead.
And I want to just finish my point. Okay.
Yeah.
If the only answer that Mike Rogers and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have to this economy is to point to me and say there are scary words associated with him, I'm just going to tell you those scary words are not raising gas prices or keeping you from seeing your doctor. I'm interested in getting money out of politics, putting money in your pocket, passing Medicare for all. And I think that actually...
And Jesse could have came right back to him and said, what about no tax on tips? What about no tax on overtime? You see, the problem with this Medicare for all thing that they say put money back in your pocket, well, the interesting thing is it's designed for the people who don't have any money to put in to begin with. It's not designed for people who have money in their pocket. It's designed for people who can't afford anything. So you're not putting money back in people's pockets unless you're just going to redistribute the other people's money, because it's not going into people's pockets who actually took it out to begin with. It's a sham.
It will solve problems in Michigan.
I'm not scared of you,
If you think
Abdul, I just think you're a little misguided.
Or running against my faith is going to fix problems, go ahead.
No, I just played what you said and we talked about it, so we're all good. You also said this, you want to replace the right to bear arms with the right to health care. You don't want to replace the Second Amendment, do you?
Well, look, man, I think more people are more worried about whether or not they can see a doctor than whether or not they can have it.
That was a gimme. That was a absolute gimme. I bet you Ted Nugent was ready to scream, do you want to replace the Second Amendment? No, it's very simple. No, I don't want to take away guns. No, many people in Michigan hunt. No, but he couldn't do it right off the bat. He's got to think. He's got to blink the eyes, get some more information.
I'm just going to put that out there.
I mean, you're dodging the question. Do you want to replace the Second Amendment?
I'm just saying that more people are more concerned about seeing a doctor. If we had a right to health care in this country, they probably wouldn't. And I think that'd be a pretty good thing, don't you?
He asked him twice. If you have to ask somebody 2 times to answer a very simple question about a constitutional right, you know you're in trouble. That should have been no-brainer. No, it's in the Constitution. I'm good with it. Done. He couldn't answer the question twice as he kept closing his eyes and talking about something else. Do you want to get rid of the Second Amendment? It's very simple.
I think you dodged the question, and that's a pretty big one in Michigan. But I'll take it as what you said. You
Jesse,
said
look,
Colin Kaepernick.
I'm perfectly fine with people. Let me just finish to answer your point. You said I dodged the question. I'm perfectly okay with people having their hunting rifles. It's an important pastime. I've got family that goes hunting every single year. But don't you think we should have a right to health care? Don't you think that?
That's not an answer. The answer was, do you want to get rid of the Second Amendment? I don't care that your family goes out and shoot goats. That's not what's important to me. Do you want to repeal and get rid of the Second Amendment? 3 times he asked him. 3 times he whiffed, completely whiffed.
Be a good thing in America. Can we just say that?
75% of the country likes the health care coverage they have. I don't want to screw that up.
No, 75% of the country wants guaranteed health care through Medicare for all. So where do you have your facts? I guess I know you guys do alternative facts over here.
We'll find out.
I'll give you that.
We'll find out in November. But that's a Gallup poll. You might not believe it, but
yes, we will.
I'm telling you what it is.
Yes, we will.
You said Colin Kaepernick was a good guy, and you said the NFL was racist. What did you mean by that?
look, I think for Colin Kaepernick's sake, I think he should have had several more years in the NFL. Now, I think he's a pretty damn good quarterback. I think, unfortunately, he lost a lot of time. But the bigger question right now when it comes to football, look, I know you guys like to think I don't like football, but I'm happy to line up against anybody who thinks that I don't like football. And I'll just tell you, the bigger issue that we have for football right now is I looked at ticket prices to try and go and see a game with my family. It's astronomical, through the roof.
Okay. You may not understand what the Michigan Wolverine Stadium is like. There's nobody there. I think they're sold out for years in advance. So again, he's telling you he's not for the everyday person. He's for the poor peoples. That's who he's going after. He's going after people who can't afford anything. And that's a noble cause, but at least say it. No, I'm not for the everyday person. I'm for the people on welfare. I'm for the people who need food stamps. Just call it like you say it and stop euphemizing by saying it's for the everyday American. That's bullcrap. That's not who they want. And now he's saying that NFL prices are too high. Michigan's in college, but they don't seem to have a problem. It's sold out. I'm pretty sure the Detroit Lions will be sold out. I think they call that, supply and demand. The Dolphins are going to suck. You're going to be able to buy cheaper tickets this year. It won't be that way for the Seattle Hawks. There won't be a ticket to be had. Supply and demand. That's another codicil that these people want to strike from the American economy. They don't want prices based upon demand. Everybody should be able to go. No, everybody shouldn't.
Now, I think football used to be the kind of thing that you could enjoy with people.
It's another dodge, Abdul.
So we want to talk about football. I want to talk about access to football.
I asked you if you thought the NFL was racist because you said the NFL was racist, and now you're talking about ticket prices.
No, I'm just telling you the NFL is too expensive. The NFL is too expensive. You don't agree?
All right, so you don't think it's racist?
No, I don't agree. And you shouldn't agree, because you shouldn't have government setting the prices for private enterprise. That's like saying a McDonald's hamburger is too expensive. We need to do something about the burrito. All of this is the same bunch of crap. They're trying to weasel their way into the American economy and dictate what prices should be.
Anymore?
I get it.
All right, well, I'm glad. You don't think the NFL is racist anymore. That's
most
good.
people can't afford that. Bigger issue with the NFL. You want to talk about the NFL. The bigger issue with the NFL is too many people can't afford it. I get you probably can. And I know that you're in New York, so you have like two teams that play in the same place. So you get two options. But I'm just saying that here in Michigan, we got one team.
Okay.
And most people can't afford to watch them in the stadium. And I'd like to make it more affordable.
Right, so you dodged.
How do you do that? Jesse missed an opportunity there. That's how these people need to be confronted. Oh, you'd like to make it more affordable for people who can't afford tickets to a sold-out game. How do you do that? What mechanism, what lever do you pull to make Michigan make the prices cheaper? What lever do you pull to make the Detroit Lions sell cheaper? What lever do you pull to make the Detroit Red Wings make hockey games cheaper? What lever do you pull to make Taylor Swift tickets cheaper? There is no answer to that, because the answer will make people run. It means the government is going to dictate what you want, how you want, and what you're going to pay for it. You have to listen between the lines, because you can't make it cheaper. If I have 10 tickets and I got 12 people who want them, I'm going to raise my price. Here's a great example. Ashley and I looked at a property today, Saturday morning. I am going to go see this property. And the property at one point was listed for $820,000. $820,000. I looked at it and said, Ashley, oh, by the way, over the last year and a half, which they haven't sold it, it just keeps going down and going down, going down. We're going to go see it Saturday. Place is gorgeous. And she asked me, obviously she's in North Carolina, why is it not selling? Well, it sits right across the street from a giant wall That's 95. The highway runs right there, and people don't want to have to live next to the highway. But it also sits next to the college. And so as the price kept coming down, now it's a good deal to buy and rent out to college students. Because while this demand has been going down in terms of actual people who want to live there, the amount of college kids who are just coming back into town, that's going way up. And so it depends on your perspective. Well, I don't want to live next to a highway. I'm not buying it. Ooh, we can buy it as a rental and make it like a fraternity house. Stick a whole bunch of kids in there. Make their dads and parents pay for it. Finding the opportunity and massaging it is the difference between what these people do. What they want to do is take you away from having any opportunity.
Again, sex changes for minors. Do you support that?
Look, I remember having great conversations with my conservative friends about right to try legislation. The idea.
Okay, so you understand, we've watched this. Actually, it's taken longer. It's a 25-minute piece, but it's taken us longer to go through because of my big mouth. But in any event, has he answered any question as it was asked to him? There's never been a direct answer. Yeah, I got to think about that. I only talk about gas prices or groceries.
The government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. I just think the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. And if you're a minor,
you want to try on kids?
Now, if you disagree with that, if you disagree that health care decisions need to be made by a doctor and their parents and a patient, then we think we agree to disagree. But, you want to put government inside
So, Abdul, you're a doctor, right?
Selectively. I am.
So you think it's okay for a parent to slash his kid's thing-a-ling off? You think that's okay?
I mean, do you really want to have this conversation? Are you circumcised?
You heard that, right? I didn't believe it because I wanted you to hear it. That's a Senate candidate in Michigan. That's a Senate candidate in Michigan who's stuck behind a question and doesn't know how to answer and comes out and blurts, "Are you circumcised?" What?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a
Jesse,
personal question.
Okay,
doctor.
So you probably should want to move on.
Is circumcision's different than castration?
I think it's a problem. It's a problem that you think that you get to decide what happens between a parent, a doctor, and a patient. And I'm just saying that, yes, circumcision is surgery on a kid's ding-a-ling. So if you really want to bring that up, you can. I just think you guys are really selective about how you want to talk about these things.
Abdul?
By the way, this is the same guy a second ago who is telling you that they need to find a way to make, ticket prices cheaper. They need to get involved in that. But they don't want you involved in whether or not to lop off, the junk.
Michigan's not going for that. That is sick stuff. Boys playing in girls' sports.
I'm not advocating anything. I'm just saying.
What about that?
So the question, again, Jesse, you have not asked me one time about the issues that people actually care about in Michigan. You don't want to talk about gas prices. You don't want to talk about groceries. You don't want to talk about health care. You don't want to talk about this stupid trade war that's about to destroy Michigan's economy.
We spent the whole interview talking about that stuff.
That's destroying that is destroying our own military. You don't seem to want to talk about any of those things. You want to bring up all this culture war that, I'm not here to fight a culture war.
We talked about the war. We talked about gas prices and the Green New Deal, okay? If you want to do an interview,
I brought them up every time.
You can do the interview,
You're
okay?
asking me, you're doing the greatest hits, Jesse. This is, you could play this game if you want, but, you can keep doing the greatest hits if you want. You told me we're going to come on for a conversation, and when we have conversations, I think it's okay to also ask questions. I just want to understand what you're getting at here.
I'm getting at whether you think men should play in women's sports.
As the next U.S. Senator in Michigan,
it's a big issue.
I'm interested in getting money out of politics, putting money in your pocket.
These are your socialists. Tunnel vision, distract, deflect, obfuscate. Don't ever answer a question that people want to answer to. Only tell them what you want them to know. Only talk to them about, Saul Alinsky. Never go outside your box of expertise. Never go outside that. No matter what you're asked, no matter how many times, stay inside your box of expertise, or at least the expertise that somebody gave you, and never venture out of it. That's why the blinking is happening. He's understanding. Go back in my box. Go back in my safe space. Go back to talking about gas. Go back to talking about grocery prices. Go back to talking about the poor. Go back to talking about Medicare. Never leave that box. Over the last couple of months, I've shown you specifically the Saul Alinsky rules for radicals. You're watching it right now in front of you in color. It's being done, and you may not recognize it. So as you get more depth to looking at things, you're like, I see what he's doing. He's not going outside the box of his expertise. However, I'm trying to make you go out the box of your expertise. However, Jesse's expertise is much bigger than this guy. And so he had to keep recoiling back into it.
And passing Medicare for all.
You're filibustering,
most people don't care about what sports kids play. And
You're filibustering.
I'm just
it's a big issue.
Because I want
you
to
guys
talk about
kind of
issues
lost
that
on that issue
viewers
last time.
Deserve to hear about.
All right, so you want to answer that question.
What issue?
You want to answer the question.
What issue? Go ahead, Jesse. What issue?
Should men play women's sports? You have daughters, right?
I think that, look, I played sports my whole life. Sports were an important part of my life. I'm grateful for the opportunity to play sports. And at the end of the day, the decision of who gets to play what sports ought to be decided by the people who govern sports. I'm running for U.S. Senate. Jesse, it's insane. I'm out here trying to take on like the healthcare crisis in big pharma, and you're asking me about who gets to play what sports. It's silly. People can't take you seriously.
It's kind of a big thing if you've been following the news recently, Abdul. Let me ask you about the politics. We'll get to your race. Let's do your race right now.
Please be serious. Like, I'm here with you. I want to have a conversation about the issues that matter.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the things that people are actually talking about.
Okay. I am. But let's keep going.
Everybody's talking about the WNBA. Everybody. It was a #1 trend on Google Trends. I showed it to you. What he is actually saying is talk about the things that the people I talk to, my box of people, however they are in Dearborn and some of these crazy cities, that's the only thing I need to talk about. Are you really saying people aren't talking about what's going on with the WNBA, whether or not, girls can play with boys and everything else? You're telling me nobody you're rubbing elbows with is looking at that issue. That's what he's saying.
Black people in Michigan.
Well, I know you guys are talking about that, but like most of the country's not.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Black people in Michigan voted for this white lady you ran against by like 8 points over you. What happened there?
Well,
Jesse, I mean, you said it yourself, right? You got to give credit to Abdul. He ran against the machine. I got outspent 11-1. That 11-1 is going to do something at the end of the day. Now, my job is to go and earn every vote. And we've been having some great conversations in the community. We'll continue to do that. And I have a lot to talk about when it comes to my work taking care of communities. I rebuilt Detroit's health department, led Wayne County's Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services, got to work alongside so many folks in the community to give kids glasses, take on corporate polluters, eliminate medical debt. I'm looking forward to continuing to have those conversations, and I feel really good about being able to bring...
I wouldn't even buy a car from this guy. Anybody that does all this kind of blinking and wouldn't look me in the eye, I don't trust you to walk my dog. He's got a serious issue. He's talking about going on a debate. Remember back when Nixon and Kennedy had their debate. Once people look at you and they see how you're talking, how you're reacting, and you're doing this over and over and just looking the other way, right away, you're going to start losing credibility. It makes people uncomfortable. Think about how you feel right now watching this. Would you want this guy? Forget that he's who he is. Would you want this guy selling you a car? No. Would you want him selling you anything? No. Anybody that won't look me in the eye, I don't want to do business with. I definitely don't want you to be a politician. I can't trust you. Every aspect of everything you've learned interpersonally in terms of talking to people your whole life, and you're looking at somebody and you're not going to continue that conversation. You wouldn't do that with somebody at a party, at a backyard barbecue. Hey, Fred, how you doing? Well, no. And you're telling me people in Michigan are voting for this guy? No way.
Communities together and beat Mike Rogers, who you and I both agree is a beta and won't come on your show and won't debate me in November.
Didn't agree to that, but that's funny. Reparations, do you support that?
But you laughed at it. Because you didn't say you didn't agree. Like, Jesse, you're very good at telling me when you don't agree with me, but you actually laughed at that joke because you actually agree. Sorry.
Reparations, do you support that?
I think we need to have an honest conversation about the incredible debt that was put upon black folks as a function of slavery that we have yet to pay. And
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. We should absolutely look at reparations for the debt that people incurred when they were slaves. Do you know any? Do you know any slaves? Do you know any of the people that came across on the boats? Do you know anybody who was whipped? Do you know any of these people who were stuck in stockades? You know anybody who, had to sleep in the outhouse while other people slept in the big house? Do you know one anywhere? Because I agree with you. If you can find one, we should give that person a reparation. You were a slave. You need to be taken care of. But I bet you can't find one. I bet you won't see any. I never baled any hay. I never got whipped. Well, SP's talking in my ear. I never got whipped. I never baled any hay. What the hell? I didn't come across on a boat. I don't even like boats. So, yeah, let's go with the reparations. I am fully ahead with the reparations. As soon as you can find me a slave that I can pay.
I just think that's fair. Like, if people are enslaved and forced into servitude, and then we don't actually have a conversation about all that was owed, that our own country agreed was owed, I just think that it's past time to have that conversation. That shouldn't be a crazy thing. I understand that, like, for folks who really want to inflame culture war, I just think it's important for us to think about how do we make sure that communities like the city of Detroit that have been segregated so that you have a disproportionate number of people as a function of redlining.
Wait. The conversation was about reparation for slaves, and somehow it has morphed into people on the east side of Detroit who are poor. That's not reparations. That's a completely different conversation. We're talking about reparations to slaves. I would venture that I'd probably be a 99% issue. Yes, let's give slaves reparations. Bring them over. The rest of them? No.
Forced into certain communities, how do we make sure that their schools are made whole? I'll just tell you this, in the city of Detroit right now, they just had $700 million invested in their schools. They're still $1.7 billion behind. And a lot of folks want to say, oh, well, that's profligacy, et cetera, et cetera. No, a lot of that has to do with public policy. Okay. And if public policy created a level in which black folks disproportionately suffer everything from maternal mortality and infant mortality to lack of access to jobs, I think it's important for our country to have a conversation.
How are you going to prove that? See, that's the other thing, is because if you're saying that black people, big circle, if you're saying black people have suffered and they don't have access to X, Y, and Z, then what am I? What are my sisters? What are my friends? What are my cousins? What were my mom and dad? Anomalies? We just happen to be able to survive and thrive? We were some good Negroes. Is that what it is? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
Conversation
about how we
about
make
it.
people whole.
You want to have a conversation about it because we have you on the record as backing it, but now you just want to have a conversation. I got it.
Well, I couldn't tell you exactly what. Go ahead.
Schumer, you said you basically wanted his head on a stake when you were running in the primary. And you still believe that?
Well, look, me and the senator have one goal right now. It is to win Michigan. So we're looking forward to doing that. And given the fact that Mike Rogers, who you agree is a beta, is my opponent, it probably shouldn't be very hard.
Okay. I respect the fact that you
still
came
haven't
on.
opposed me, Mike. Bro, talk to your guy.
I respect the fact that you came on. I don't think you've really looked into some of the policies you're pushing. You seem a little naive, Abdul. I give you credit for facing the music, but some of the stuff's just straight up wacky. You know? I don't know if that's going to fly in Michigan, but we're going to find out.
You know what's wacky?
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. And you know what's wacky?
Yeah.
You know what's wacky, though?
Yeah.
Can I just tell you? You know you didn't ask me about?
What?
We got a president of the United States who cares more about the drapes in a ballroom that shouldn't be built than he cares about the war he just got us into, or that he cares about the affordability crisis. That seems to me to be a little bit wacky. So if we want to have a serious conversation about what Michiganders are feeling, I'd love to come back on and talk about getting money out of politics, put money in your pocket, passing Medicare for all.
Okay, we'll do it again.
I'm telling you, none of that is wacky, and that's what Michiganders want.
We'll do it.
I can't. I mean, I just urge you to keep that in mind. And then this Saturday and Sunday, I don't know if the Detroit Lions are playing at home. It's a preseason. As soon as the Michigan Wolverines play, go ahead and click on that watch that game and tell me about the everyday Michiganders can't afford anything. Yeah, it's a bunch of bull. President Trump just posted. Oh, he just smacked Brett Baer down and some people. Hold on, let's look at this. Jonathan Hunt of Fox News did a particular, so he's on a plane. He must have just been watching what I was watching, because he posted this at 6:19, so about 30 minutes ago.
He landed.
He landed. Okay. Jonathan Hunt of Fox News did a particularly inaccurate report on the failing Islamic Republic of Iran. I don't want to meet. They do. In fact, they are begging to make a deal. Brett Baer should straighten out his flunkies for a change. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's
Man, wait.
He gives not. Here's a SB.
No S.
Got a
cut 11. Cut 11.
Cut 11 of President Trump landing in. Where is this? Houston? Is that where he is?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! And to a roaring Texas crowd. Or did they show the crowd?
Oh yeah,
at
everybody's
all?
chanting USA. Oh well, I think it's if this is the video that I saw earlier. There's people going USA right in front of the beast.
Oh, wow. Pretty cool. So he's landed in Texas. This was at 6:08 p.m. Somebody posted. Who is this?
Minutes.
Got there about 40 minutes ago. Very cool. Hold on. Let's.
And he didn't fall down the stairs like Biden would have done.
And obviously that's the big plane too. The one, the new plane.
Oh yeah.
So pretty cool. So the event tonight, I believe, is closed. They're not going to be showing any speeches or anything. Not sure if he did a speech while he was on the plane. If he does, I'll go ahead and see if I can't cut that. All right. So what else you got here? Let me go up to. Oh, wait a minute. Who's this? 8. This is JD Vance. Where is this at? This today? Oh no, that's recorded.
No. He's on August 31st. I think that's today 27th. So
Monday.
He's headed to Michigan Monday to campaign for Trump endorsed Mike Rogers with the pro-Trump Super PAC MAGA Inc. against our boy right there, Abdul, who I tell you has severe TDS and doesn't know a damn thing. He's a retard. Great news. J.D. Vance's Rust Belt Force, John James, Lisa McCain, Sean Duffy, and others will be there. This comes as 47 is in Texas, as we see, tonight for Ken Paxton. Michigan and Texas are crucial.
I don't know. I don't know how Michiganders, as they're called, could ever vote for that idiot. I mean, I just don't know how it could happen. Huh? Cheating. Yeah,
Cheating. Yeah.
So this is from Jensen Wang from NVIDIA. They just reported some sales.
So more winning. I mean, no report from CNN, MSN, CBS, NBC, ABC. So yeah, he just took a massive victory lap to NVIDIA CEO Jesse Hang after the company scored a record $96.2 billion in sales, forecasting a 70% rise in revenue in 2028.
Wow. And
I mean, it's in America, made in America. Yep.
70% rise. Wow. That's incredible. By the way, he's not doing anything. He's making money on his money. And we
I just
we have to make sure we understand that none of these people are actually doing anything. They're making money on their money. Oh my gosh.
So I'm retired and my money's making money and I'm not doing a damn thing. Huh.
You're not doing anything, and if you are making money on your money, you shouldn't be. It's not your money, it's their money. It's absolutely crazy.
I want reparations. I want reparations, Barry. Come on.
All right. Now you talk. You got a question here.
Okay.
If we can't define what a woman is, how do you define what black is? I'm gonna leave that up to each one of you to do some homework, because since we're no longer, using science, because I think I'm a boy. Yeah, they tell me, but now you're telling me
I'm not checking that.
No, you're not a boy. You can be whatever you want to be. All right, so can I be a white woman? Oh, I'd love.
Sure. You can identify. Come on, Cantor's doing it. Shit, why not?
No, he's just a woman. He hasn't said no. I'm not Asian. I'm not sure what his nationality is, but I'm gonna go all the way. I'm gonna identify as a woman, but I want to identify as a white woman. Prove me wrong.
Just don't cut that thing off, bro. I don't think Rob wants that.
Oh my God, I don't understand how. Make sense. I can't help you.
It's all upside down. It's all upside down.
You got one more here. What's this one?
Yeah, so remember back in the day, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. So now we have migrant panic is erupting in good old Springfield, Ohio, as Haitians are starting to be detained at alarming rates by ICE, because they're sending them all back. This comes after Haitian business owners say they're rapidly losing business in recent weeks, and many Haitians already fled town. Who's left? So the TPS enforcement is ramping up. Self-deport now or get kicked out by ICE. So yeah, they're panicking.
Yeah, they probably got dogs that are, I don't know if you've ever gone hunting, but like pointer dogs, you got dogs going, Haitian. Go get him. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I can just see it. Eating the dogs, eating the cats. Now the dogs are like, now we know he's over there. Here, I'm gonna be a sniffer for you. I'm gonna go find me some. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
I have one late arrival. I'm sending it to you right now. Clandestine just posted this. Hold on a second. Let me get it to you. Got to do this. Copy link, and here it comes. There we go.
All right, let me pull this up. And the demon himself, you sent me a picture of the demon.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. That's like the guy from Star Wars. Luke.
No, he looks like the guy from what's him, Poltergeist.
Oh,
the old guy that came to the door and knocked on the door. He looks like
Carol Ann. Carol Ann, come to the TV.
Oh my God. Oh, so what do you got?
I mean, how is he alive? Okay, so Trump, this is clandestine. So Trump and his administration are going after Antifa, Soros, and the Muslim Brotherhood all at the same time. Right as we learn about Antifa being connected to a global terrorist network connected to Islamic terror organizations like Hamas and the IRGC. It is happening.
Nothing is happening. It's all an illusion. Nothing is happening. Trump's doing nothing. Vote for the Democrats. Don't vote. Basically, stay home. Do anything while we do exactly what we tell you not to do. That's it. I can't stand I can't stand these people who do this kind of crap. You know what I mean? And we all know who they are, and they just complain 24/7, but they don't have any answers, and there's no way they're going to vote for socialists. Just not going to be. Not going to happen. Even Tucker. I can tell you, Tucker likes his ducats. His family likes their ducats. They don't want to have that go away and pay capital gains tax on unrealized gains. Can you imagine? Unrealized.
None of that stuff ever makes sense. These people, I mean, and anybody who votes for him, I don't know. I was going to say something else. Never mind.
All right, so just to let you know,
Anyway.
I'm not sure of a show tomorrow. The Miami Dolphins game is at 7, so we have to leave the house probably about 5. So obviously I won't be doing a 4 o'clock
Who
show.
they playing?
The Atlanta Falcons. The return of Tua. Tua will be back in the house tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll let
Prosperity.
you guys know.
Have fun there.
If I decide to go early, I'll do something. If not, we'll have a couple posted videos.
All right.
But thank you for your time today, SV.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. All right, so let me go ahead and do ooh, that didn't work. Let me do this window. There we go. And do the super chats, and then so we can do the after party and get on with it. All right, let me go ahead and scroll to the top and then scroll this down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Groove guy, OMG, I swear they're going to start crying any second now. Oh, the Dems are really, really going to start crying. They might even get a little bit violent. That's the part I'm concerned about. Fazul, even if half the fraud is stopped, they can't win. Nope. Juaniska, Barry, do you know the socialist communism grading in the classroom story? No, I don't know anything about that. Huh. Ed Sloan, Barry, the chat really likes your yellow shirt. Oh, thank you very much. The wife got this for me. Vielka, Jim Clyburn is going to Michigan to help Syed with black votes. Anybody paying any attention to Jim Clyburn is an absolute fool. Absolute fool. Barry Canova, the shirt with the trim on the collar makes the fanfare hat more desirable. How can I get one? Robin picked that shirt for you, Barry, right? Yep, she sure did. We're going to, I think we got all the hats out. I got a couple of people who have been waiting, and then we probably start that up for the fall. Jared, can you put the South Korea church interview by itself? Yes, I'm working on that, just trying to figure out where we're going to put it. We're doing some different things, and I will definitely put that up somewhere. Maximus, hello. Barry, just want to get this out there for everyone's opinion. I strongly feel they can keep the Social Security SS for Congress. Bet the military, specifically Delta. All right, man, you're talking like in code here. Secret Service for Congress, but the military, specifically Delta, OD, SOF units, all tier 1 units. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not military or police. I'd love to see a comment. Tell me what you're talking about there. Alec, my grandfather lived to 96. Oddly, after his 97th birthday, he started voting Democrat. I just got that. I get that. Maximus, oops, didn't finish that. Military for the president and vice president. All right, now that makes more sense. Gotcha. Let Social Security, let the Secret Service go for Congress and put President Trump protected with the military for President Trump and vice president. Yep, I agree. Groove guy, hey Big B, you should gift me a hat for my birthday. If it's your birthday, let me just say happy birthday. And go ahead and contact one of the mods. Andrew, Trump, name all bodies of water after your cabinet. That would be funny. Micro Rod, should we call the moon of America? I think Elon might have a problem with that. We'll have to see, because that definitely would make some sense. Linnell, as someone that works for the United States Postal Service, I can tell you this order can be implemented within a month easily. We already have the information of who lives where. Okay, there's somebody who works with the Postal Service. Michael or Miko, they should replace Caroline with the Karine Pierre. Alex, next time the president's honoring a hero, fake news reporter will ask, what about the maple syrup prices? Crazy. D. Harris, if JD wins the presidency with Trump as VP and then he resigns and Trump becomes president, is that possible? Yeah, it's possible. I don't think he'd do it, but that's definitely possible. They were talking about that with Kamala and, naming Hillary as vice president and then switching roles, basically. Yeah, it's plausible. I don't think it's possible. G-Money, the obsolete Lake Ontario souvenir shops aren't doing well. 300% tariff on our dairy. How dare they? Oh my gosh. Yeah, imagine you're selling stuff for Lake Ontario and it just changed on you. Well, maybe you could keep it as like a relic. Can you tell me who is the musician playing on your after show? I love it. I'm about to change that, but that's all just royalty-free music. I don't know who they are. A bunch of different songs, but I'm about to change it anyway. Chiosop, there's a millionaire starter pack? Bielka, on any given day, we pay for mail certification at the post office to ensure mail is not lost and to guarantee proper delivery. I agree. Chiosop, there's a billionaire starter pack also. No, I don't know what you mean. You knew your kid would be a commie if they fail math. Exactly. Alec, we got best trollster and chief in White House. But he actually, beyond just being a normal troll, he actually followed up on it and named it Lake of America. John, baby boomer deranged syndrome, for sure. They do have that. Alec, planters should endorse Telefrico straight from the porta potty. I thought they said he was going to get back in a race. It was pretty interesting, but he kind of just disappeared. Haven't heard much from Governor Milkshake lately. Tim Walz is probably just trying to stay out of jail. Chiosop, curate the commies and tell them it's... Oh, you guys are going to get me in trouble here. C-Arm, isn't Al Sayed Egyptian? Did they have slaves that built the pyramids? Good point. Good point. Very good point. Alec, again, it's not that they don't want you to make money. They're looking for ways to take the money that you make. Completely. I completely agree. Tania, Barry, I'm pretty sure as an Islamist, Al Sayed disagrees with the sex change. Wow. I didn't even think about that. I'm sure Jesse did. As an Islamist, he can't possibly want sex changes. You're right, but he won't say what he really feels because he wants the votes. Man, that's boom. Boom, that's a good one. You're right. You're exactly right. And Maximus, can we get hats? I would love one, only if I can. Yeah, we're going to start doing that again. Like I said, we're caught up. I got a couple people that have asked over and over, so we'll get them out. I think there's a box around here somewhere, but Ashley can get some more. All right, so I won't know about tomorrow. It'd have to be early, so if Trump's doing a speech or something, maybe I could do it. Other than that, I will see you Saturday if I don't go tomorrow. So thanks, everybody.